56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports 56 Middays with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie. Sports 56 Middays is presented by FedEx. FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Marts.
From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series, and the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
The Tigers reclaim their crown by crushing Alabama.
Brady under center, victory formation, takes the snap, falls to a knee, and that'll do it. The New England Patriots have won.
And Virginia with the all-time turnaround title.
We the North are now we the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
I got a piece of land out in the countryside. Lay back and smell the sun. Warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Wednesday edition of Sports 56 Middays. Whether you're listening on Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7, you're checking us out online at sports56whbq.com, or you're watching us on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube. We'd love to hear from you today on the program. We do have a lot of guests, and we got a lot of topics to get to, but we're always interactive. The First Bank phone line's 360-8255. First Bank text line 67129. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Austin Eldridge. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. No matter what stage you are at in your business, there's room to grow online. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. It's the Wednesday, October 9th, 2019 edition of the program. Coming up on the show today, we'll look back at the Grizzlies' second dress rehearsal last night against the New Zealand Breakers and R.J. Hampton, who did not have a good game by any stretch of the imagination. The Grizzlies with 3 more preseason games before they get ready to start the 2019-20 NBA season. We'll talk about the Major League Baseball playoffs, a big day today, 2 Game 5s, and there will be a surprising Game 5 tomorrow between the Astros and the Rays after the Rays won game number 4 to hang in there and force a decisive 5th game. We will discuss that on the program today. Jerry Palm will join us today on the show at 11 o'clock, as he does every Wednesday, to talk some college football. At 11:25, our good friend Dr. Rochelle Stevens, the Olympic gold and silver medalist track star, who is going into the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame. And that is going to be happening on Thursday. It is called the Memphis Sports Experience in Hall of Fame. It'll be at AutoZone Park. And it'll be the inaugural class. They call it the bicentennial class. There's 22 members of the class. We'll tell you about that a little bit later on. To talk about the 22 inductees, including, as I mentioned, our guest, Dr. Rochelle Stevens at 11:25. At 12, Sigmund Bloom will answer all your fantasy football questions. If you're not available at 12 to talk to him on the phone or texting at that time, you can text in questions right now. We will absolutely ask Sigmund. So you can text in at 67129, First Bank text line. And Blake Topmeyer, if that wasn't enough, at 12:30 to talk Tennessee football, the move to Brian Maurer at quarterback, the whole Jeremy Banks situation, and what did the University of Tennessee know about the second video that came out. We will discuss that with Blake Topmeyer. We got dinner and a movie, your chance to win a great prize package, and we'll wrap it up with one final thing. So that is one busy Wednesday edition of Middays. Good morning.
Good morning.
How was your Grizzlies preseason experience last night?
Well, it was everything I expected it to be.
And more?
No, it was exactly what I expected it to be.
R.J. Hampton, who was on with us yesterday on the program, playing for the Breakers, 18 years old, but now a professional basketball player, struggled a little bit. How about a game where he went 1 of 8, 2 points, did have 6 rebounds, 1 assist. What did you think of John Morant in his 20 minutes? Because I was very impressed Sunday when I got to see them in their first dress rehearsal, and I talked about it on Monday.
I mean, you see a lot of the things that everybody loved about him. I mean, he's got great court vision. He does. It is very smooth. Everything's just really smooth. Like he can make some passes that are pretty impressive passes, but he just kind of makes it look ho-hum the way he does it.
Right.
And it's like, but yeah, I mean, there's certainly is a lot to really like. And he had the alley-oop early on to Jaren Jackson Jr., which I know a lot of people will be looking for a lot more of those. But yeah, he just there was actually a couple times last night he could have had easy layups that he chose to kick it out for a 3 or something like that. But yeah, his passing is you watch him for 2 minutes, you could just see the vision and the passing ability is what's going to jump out at you immediately.
I think he has a chance to be way up there statistically in assists because, again, he is a pass-first, shoot-second guy.
Yeah, I mean, he is definitely looking to pass. I mean, there is no doubt about that. I think he could have a really good year assist-wise. Scoring-wise, not sure what he will be right away. But no, I think, the assist, especially if they're able to get out and run as much as they want, he could be, he could have a heck of a year as far as assists go.
10 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 points in the 20 minutes for John Morant. Jaren Jackson Jr. had a nice evening as he went for 18 points in the game. He also had 9 rebounds. Tyus Jones, who I really like. I love that acquisition, kind of under the radar. 13 points, 5 assists off the bench. Jay Crowder at 15 and 5. The question for the Grizzlies, well, there's many questions, but the wings and who's going to be knocking down those threes because Taylor Jenkins wants them to get up and down and shoot threes. Well, last night we saw a couple of guys who are good candidates to get ample playing time. One is Grayson Allen, who had his second straight impressive game for the Grizzlies, 18 points, 5 rebounds, and Marko Guduric, who had 14 points in just 17 minutes. Dylan Brooks, who looks like he'll be the starter at the 2, was 2 of 13 in this particular game. And we did see slow-mo. Kyle Anderson came back after not playing on Sunday. So what is your thoughts on the wings and what you saw, especially from the new guys?
Well, first of all, Dylan Brooks looked bad. I don't know.
You were searching for the right word. And came up with bad.
He shot like every time he touched it. He wouldn't pass the ball. Like it was just catch and shoot every time. And there weren't many that were close. Guduric showed that like if he's open, like there was when he got like wide open looks, he knocked it down. I mean, he's going to need that. He's going to need people to create that space for him, I think. Grayson Allen there was a period there in the third quarter, I guess it was, like when after the Breakers had made the run and got it to, I think, 6, and Grayson Allen had the big-time dunk, then knocked down to 3. He had 2 great blocks where he got way up, one on Hampton, and I don't remember who the other was on, but he got way up and got 2 blocks right at the rim. Like Grayson Allen was the most impressive thing of the night. I think he was fantastic.
Well, for those who don't know Grayson Allen, I mean, they may have heard of him, they may have seen him once in a while, but you really don't know his game. He's a hell of an athlete.
No, he's very extremely athletic. So he's I think through the first 2 games, I mean, he has done himself very well in trying to earn the spot and playing time and rotation minutes, all that stuff. Through the first 2, I would have to say that he has probably done the best job of the kind of guys you didn't know for sure where it was going to go. He has obviously stepped way up into that. It was funny with R.J. Hampton because he looked like what you probably should expect, an 18-year-old kid who really should be in high school still, who's, playing in one of his first few games that he's doing against NBA players. He is thin. You could see the athleticism and the length and all those things, but I think they've played like 2 or 3 preseason games in New Zealand. I mean, he's a high school senior playing against NBA talent. You're probably not going to look real good. That's a difficult thing. At the end of the question will be at the end of the season over there when he has played a full season against professional players. How much better does he get? That will be what scouts will be looking for. Scouts, obviously, a lot of them there last night, and a lot will be there. I think it's tomorrow night they play at Oklahoma City. But it's not going to be real pretty for a kid playing against NBA talent as one of his first few games at the professional level.
But that's where it can backfire. If you don't come with the goods, and again, this isn't NBA level talent, but there are guys who have played in the NBA that are from the States that play in this league that he's playing in. In fact, he plays with Scottie Hobson. By the way, was he booed by Memphis fans?
I'm not sure the people there realize Scottie Hobson, who he was.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay, but anyway.
It's hard to find the names on their jerseys. There's so many sponsors on them, so I'm not sure people have got it.
Here's where it could backfire, because I agree with what you just said. How about if he struggles to a certain extent throughout the season, and we know it's a short season. He was on the show with us yesterday. What did he say, 28 games?
Yeah, it's less than 30
They
games.
don't have 82 games, or let's just put, a college schedule. You make a nice run in the tournament, you could play, 35, 36 games. So it's more like a college schedule than it is a professional schedule. But you are playing against professional basketball players, albeit some a lot better than others. In college, there may be a couple of teams on your schedule, especially if you get to the tournament, that can do a pretty good job shutting you down. But even if you're not yet clicking right out of high school, making that transition to college, you're going to light up some of those teams, especially early on, that non-conference schedule. You're playing some pretty mediocre teams. You're going to light them up. So for the scouts out there, they're going to see that. If they're watching you play in this league in Australia, where all the games are, even though they're at New Zealand, of course, they'd have home games as well. And you're exposed, that's going to hurt your draft status. So he's gambling a little bit. He's getting money now. He's being paid. He already has a shoe sponsorship and all that, and he's not going to college because he doesn't want to. But if he's exposed by those guys, then I can only imagine that scouts would say, well, if he's not, I know he's only 18 and he's making that transition from high school, but we're 25 games into the season here, towards the end of the season, and he doesn't look that good against this caliber of competition. What's it going to be like in the NBA? He could hurt his status. He could also jump right up top with a great performance all season long.
But you could look at it the other way. It's like if you go to college and get exposed, you don't ever get the money.
But you're not pro material. You're not NBA material if you're R.J. Hampton, a 5-star guy coming out and getting exposed for an entire college basketball season. I'm not saying that there won't be games.
So but at least he got paid somewhere.
Well, you could look. That's one way to look at it. But a guy like Boogie Ellis and Lester Canonias, they're going to have games where you go, man, what are they doing? But if they're the players that you expect them to be, and when I say you, meaning Penny Hardaway and his staff for recruiting them, then they're going to have a lot more impressive games than they will have duds. So anyway, that's
the other thing too. I mean, and again, this is one of his first few games. He's doing it against NBA guys,
and he has the scouts there,
and he's doing it without NBA guys around him. He's facing Ja Morant, the number 2 overall pick in the draft, and Ja Morant is surrounded by other NBA guys. He's surrounded by guys who aren't good enough to play in the NBA. So for him as a point guard who's not a great shooter, it becomes even a little more difficult because you don't have the other talent around you that you can set up for play. I mean, it's so I know there will be people who will, because I'm sure he probably won't have a great game. I don't know that. I have no idea if Oklahoma City's playing Chris Paul or what they're planning on doing, but I'm going to guess he probably won't have a great game against Oklahoma City either. And I'm sure there will be people who want to make this declaration about the future of R.J. Hampton based on 2 preseason games against NBA players. Just say, like, this kid has played basically, I think it's like 4 games now with this team, and these are against NBA talent, and he's supposed to be a high school senior right now.
Right, and the other factor is, and I know he downplayed it on the show yesterday, he talked about, winning was all that mattered, but once they made the decision that the scouts could come and scout him in Memphis and in Oklahoma City, then I would have to think that on the inside, there started to be a little pressure.
Well, they were always
building
able
up.
to watch the games. The whole question was whether they could come to practices or not, and now they've allowed them to come to practice.
Well, knowing that
So
those
they're
guys
always
are
gonna
there.
be
Well,
games.
right, but in a game, they're upstairs. You don't even know they're there. But knowing that they're right there at practice and reading about it on social media that they are allowed to do that, I could see where the pressure starts to gain a little momentum and then maybe affect your play. And again, these are early games in his professional career, albeit preseason games for them as well.
And yeah, and he is. I mean, he's raw. Like he is not by any means a great shooter, or did not look that way. But he has a lot of athleticism, a lot of length, and his body certainly needs to fill out, just like Ja Morant's body needs to fill out. I mean, they're both very small guys who, but once you become a professional player, you will put some weight on. They will make sure you put some weight on, and so and he will do that just like Ja will do that.
I was watching a highlight on a Sports Center update, and I never heard of the guy who was doing the hosting of the update, but they had a highlight from the Raptors, and it was Terrence Davis.
Oh, Terrence Davis had a nasty jam the other night.
And that's what he showed. They showed the nasty jam. Of course, Terrence Davis played at Ole Miss. He's from South Haven. But the funny thing about it was he posterizes this guy, and the announcer goes, Terrence Davis in midseason form. And I'm thinking he has no idea who Terrence Davis is. He happens to be a rookie. So there has not been a midseason for him in the NBA yet. But that was nice. So it'll be interesting to see if he catches on, if not with Toronto, with any other team. A little college football news before we take the break. This is news involving one former and one current University of Memphis Tigers quarterback. Brady White yesterday named one of 20 finalists for the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. One of 20 quarterbacks in the nation, the much maligned and polarizing figure that is Brady White. Top 20 for the Johnny Unitas Award.
And many Memphis fans would rather have somebody else starting at quarterback.
And maybe that would be David Moore. David Moore, the starting quarterback for Central Michigan, the former Tiger who transferred. However, David Moore is not going to be playing for a while. How long? I'm not sure. It all depends on the appeal. But he has been suspended by the NCAA for testing positive for a banned substance. Again, the university, CMU, is appealing.
It's not good for old David Moore.
Not right now. We'll see what comes of it. But again, Brady White, one of 20 finalists for the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. All right, we will take a break. When we come back, I want to open up the phone lines to you. First Bank phone lines, 360-8255. If you want to talk a little Grizzlies or anything else that's on your mind in the world of sports, First Bank text line 67129. I want to go over this class, this bicentennial class, the inaugural class of the Memphis Sports Experience and Hall of Fame, which is taking place, a big ceremony tomorrow night at AutoZone Park. And the 22 inductees for this inaugural class, I want to tell you who they are. If you have not seen that yet, Dr. Rochelle Stevens, one of them, will be joining us on the program at 11:25. And also we'll talk Major League Baseball playoffs, 2 huge Game 5s today and another one tomorrow. The first round of the playoffs, or second round, I guess, if you will, the divisional series have turned out to be pretty impressive, very competitive, with the exception of the Yankees' easy win over the Twins. The first hour of our show is brought to you by Davis Motorhome. Mark, can't thank them enough for being a part of our program each and every day. You can check them out on the website at davismotorhome.com. You can call them at 901-332-3414 or go visit them at 1145 East Brooks Road in Memphis. Family owned and operated. They've been doing this for a long time. They know exactly what they're doing. If you're in the market for a motorhome, they can answer all your questions. They have over 7.5 acres of beautiful travel trailers and motorhomes, fifth wheels, toy haulers, towable half tons, motorhomes that range from 27 feet up to 45 feet in length. They have all the big name brands like Winnebago, Coachman, Puma, Highland Ridge, and Tiffin. They are a top 10 Tiffin dealer in the U.S. That's why they have a lot of customers that come from all over the country, even come from Canada, to get their motor home from Davis Motorhome Mart. And right now, a big blowout sale continues on all the 2019s as they are making room for the 2020s. So this is the best time to buy right now with these 2019s that have to move, and they are brand new 2019s. Also, obviously, you can get it tricked out whichever way you want. You want all the frills in there, they can do that into your beautiful new motorhome from Davis Motorhome Mart. Leave the stress at home, get away, travel to your favorite cities in a motorhome from Davis Motorhome Mart, first hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays. We will take our first break. This is Sports 56 Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Ladies and gentlemen,
grab a seat for Happy Hour. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, not for sale to minors. Website restricted to adults 21 and over.
Let's be real. Most smokers aren't looking for some overcomplicated vaping machine. That's why we created MyBlue. MyBlue is simple. Our pre-filled liquid pods mean there's no mess. One charge and MyBlue lasts all day. And with our range of flavors and nicotine options, you have a choice. MyBlue answers on what matters for smokers. Real nicotine satisfaction. And right now, try MyBlue for $1 at select retailers or myblue.com.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
It's back. The Carhartt Crazy Sale at Frontier Western Store in Olive Branch. Visit Frontier this month for huge markdowns on clearance Carhartt items. The latest fall line just launched also, and Frontier is fully stocked. We've got jeans, shirts, bib, overalls, jackets, coats, gloves, belts, boots, and more. And to make room for all the new items, we've discounted a number of short-sleeve plaids and T-shirts. Save up to 50%. All Carhartt jeans are now $5 off. This is the last jean sale of the year, so stock up now for yourself or for someone else for the upcoming holidays. Christmas will be here before you know it, so you might as well save some cash now on what you know you'll need. Also this month, we are including a buy one, get one half price sale on all novelty T-shirts by Simply Southern, Girly Girl, Live Oak, and more. It's the Carhartt Crazy Sale and more at Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
And this corner is Bob, the Beast of Bar Graphs, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so, too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is also brought to you by Davis Motor Home Mart. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 10:26 is the time. We have Jerry Palm at 11. We have Dr. Rochelle Stevens in studio at 11:25. Sigmund Bloom at 12 and Blake Topmeyer at 12:30. So this is a good opportunity this next 30 minutes, if you'd like to talk about anything in the world of sports, get something off your chest. We started off talking a little bit about the Grizzlies, 360-8255, First Bank phone lines, First Bank text line 67129. Message us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. We're going to get to the Major League Baseball playoffs in a moment. Also, the Memphis Sports Experience and Hall of Fame and their inaugural class, which will be inducted tomorrow night. We'll go over that as well.
Somebody had texted on the First Bank text line, so that Hampton's going to have to make a lot of improvement to be a lottery pick. Yeah, I mean, it's, again, but you remember, he reclassified to this. I mean, so he's essentially playing his high school senior year.
Exactly.
And last night he was playing against NBA guys. That's a big leap to just ask somebody who would basically be playing like the fourth game of their high school senior year to do it against NBA guys.
And with John Morant, who he was going up against point guard to point guard, it's not, hey, John Morant's a rookie in the NBA. John Morant played what? Did he go all 4 years at Murray State or 3?
This was his third year. I think it was third year.
But there's a lot of experience there,
Yeah,
even though it was at the collegiate level. With R.J. Hampton, he doesn't.
I think it's 2 years at Murray State.
Was it 2?
Yeah.
R.J. Hampton has no college experience. So, yes, like you said, he reclassified. This guy's a babe in the woods.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, he is as young as Ja is, and as young as Jared Jackson Jr. is. This kid doesn't turn 19 until like next February. I mean, he is really, really young, and it's just the idea of playing the games at that speed and everything else. It's at least going to take you a few games to just figure that out, and to do it. You'll be thrown in kind of the deep end the way he is right now with these 2 exhibition games against NBA teams. That is a lot to ask. Whether he'll end up being a lottery pick or not, we don't know. But as I said, don't make the judgment based on a couple of preseason games against NBA players. We'll see how he develops playing in that league over the 30 games or whatever, and then he'll do workouts and all that stuff. And I would imagine he'll still end up being at least a first round pick. We shall see where that falls.
We've spoken before, and we've talked about it on the show, about this new Sports Hall of Fame when the news came to fruition and they announced that they were going to have this. But there probably are a lot of people out there that don't know about this Hall of Fame. So tomorrow night, let me give you the particulars, first of all. The Memphis Redbirds and Memphis Tourism have come together to put this Hall of Fame together. And it's going to be at AutoZone Park. It's going to be on, what, the 3rd floor,
yep.
Eli? And the first class they're calling the Bicentennial class, but it's the Memphis Sports Experience and Hall of Fame. And they got a big ceremony going on tomorrow night. I assume it's open to the public at $150 per person or $1,500 reserved table. It's cocktail attire. You can register now at www.memphissportscouncil.com. And I'm not sure what their limitations are each year after this inaugural class, how many athletes and coaches and all types of sports entrepreneurs, how limited that class will be. But we know this one is 22 people. Now, unfortunately, a number of them have passed away, but will be represented by family or friends at this ceremony. And as I said, Dr. Rochelle Stevens will be joining us on the program today. But here is the class, and I'm waiting to get the rules of induction from our friend John Ganazzo, JJ, who, because I'm pretty sure it's limited to either you were born in Memphis or you went to school in Memphis. But I want to double check. So I don't know if a Grizzly, like for example,
no, it's if you played it. It's if you played in Memphis. I mean, the Grizzlies players will be
okay.
eligible.
So they will be. Yes. They will be eligible. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe it was if you went to school here or were born here. But here's the class. Betty Booker Parks, Isaac Bruce, Bill Dance, Billy Donovan Jr., Larry Finch, Avron Fogelman, Penny Hardaway, Claude Humphrey, Jerry Johnson, God bless him, is still alive. I think he's 100. George Lapidus, of course, who is so important to our history here at Sports 56. Keith Lee, Verdell Mathis, Tim McCarver, Nikki McCrae Penson, Dr. Kerry Middlecoff, Cindy Parlow Cohn, Ronnie Robinson, Verdi Sales, Melanie Smith-Taylor, Fred Smith, as I mentioned, Dr. Rochelle Stevens, and Memphis Bill Terry. There's your class. Again, this was a while in the making, and a lot of thought went into it for this inaugural class. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's obviously a great class of folks who are from, and this is what they set out to do, from great athletes to just contributors to the sports scene, whether it be media or others. They set out with the idea of trying to, with this first class, knew it was going to, doing a very big class to kind of get it started. And that's some great names. I mean, and there are many other great names that will end up going in. But yeah, I think it's a great group to get this thing off the ground, get it started. I think it's a great thing, as we've talked about when we've had guests on and folks who have talked about this. I mean, it's a fantastic thing that really, quite frankly, it's surprising that it took this long to do something like this.
So here is the actual form that I'm reading from, the nomination. Any citizen of the greater Memphis area is allowed one nomination per year and may nominate any candidate, living or deceased, to be considered for induction into the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame and Experience. Once nominated, that person remains in nomination for a period of 5 years or until removed from the list for a valid reason. If a person is not nominated in that time, he or she may be renominated. Nominations must be submitted using the nomination form and prior to the deadline set forth for the next induction year. Note verification of information may be sought from nominees slated for induction if required. If a living nominee cannot attend the enshrinement ceremonies, that individual declines inclusion in the current class and will automatically be a member of the subsequent class. If a living nominee cannot attend the enshrinement ceremonies for 2 consecutive years, that individual is removed from the ballot and list of nominees until renominated. Now, the athlete eligibility nomination must have demonstrated outstanding achievement in their athletic field. Nominees must have been out of competition in their acknowledged sports for a minimum of 5 years. Competition may be at the local, regional, state, national, international, or professional level. So that's the key. It's like Cooperstown. And I guess Canton has that too, right? Is Canton 5 years removed?
Yeah.
So 5 years removed. For example, the one name that pops out immediately is, where's D'Angelo Williams? Well, D'Angelo Williams is far removed from Memphis, the University of Memphis, but his NFL career, he is not 5 years removed. So therefore, that's why somebody like D'Angelo Williams is not in this inaugural class. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Because I would think he'd be an easy nomination and probably was, but they have their rules and regulations. So that is the class. And again, as you said, Eli, really a long time in the making. With the history of athletics that we've had, with the characters that have come through, some that have remained, some that are still here, some that are still performing, but others that have been here and have made an impact and have moved on, whether it be to another part of the country or the world, or they have just simply passed away. But the memories will always be there.
D'Angelo's last year was 2016, so he's still got a couple of years to wait before he can be eligible for that Hall of Fame.
Myron is dialed in on the First Bank phone lines. You can as well at 360-8255. Hi, Myron.
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Morning.
Just 2 quick comments. On that inaugural list, there is one name that I don't know if he will be nominated in the next few years, but there is one name that was an omission. It's such an obvious omission. When I call his name, I don't know if anybody would disagree with me.
Who's that?
Fred Jones Southern Heritage Classic.
I would imagine Fred Jones was nominated. I would think it makes perfect sense, but I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you think that his name should have been on that inaugural list? They just celebrated the 30th year of it. According to University of Memphis Economic Research, it has a $20 million effect on the economy, and that's been the case for more than 20 years. It just shocked me that his name was not on that inaugural list. That's just to me.
Let me look at it. Who brought the Liberty Bowl game here to Memphis? Does that have anything to do with Billy Donovan? I'm trying to look on the list and see if there's anybody.
The Liberty Bowl, that was Dudley, wasn't it?
Was it Bud Dudley?
Yeah, that's right.
So if it's and he's not on that list. Now I don't know if he's I don't know if he falls into the eligibility category, but I was trying to compare the Southern Heritage and the Liberty Bowl and see if there's anybody connected with that game as opposed to, what you said about Fred, because I think you make a great argument for Fred.
Right. That was just it's a good list, but it just stood out to me. I said, I can't believe this. So that's all how I felt about that. But it's still a good list. But I just can't see how Fred got overlooked. If my Dodgers don't correct this nonsense that's going on here tonight, I will blame the use of analytics. When I learned that was the case 2 years ago when they lost to that Houston Astros young team when they had the veteran team, you see my man Robinson with a notebook. What other managers that you see with a notebook? Is the manager for the Yankees using a notebook in the game to look up this analytics nonsense?
Well, you may not necessarily see them with a notebook.
Yeah,
but
I think a lot of them do that.
Most of them are using analytics in some way, shape, or form.
But I'm with you, Myron. I mean, you also have to use your gut. You also have to use common sense, and you mix it in with the numbers. Because if you go strictly by the numbers, I think there are times that you can certainly get burned, and we've seen it. We've seen it in the postseason.
What stood out the other night, Mahada was pitching good, but selling through that lineup. Analytics told him to bring in the lefty from the bullpen to face who was it? Soto, the lefty.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't needed at that time the way Mahada was mowing down the lineup at that point.
Right.
That's just, and I knew that when I looked at it, I said, "Oh, here come that analytics lefty nonsense."
Well, there's no doubt.
And my man was pitching good.
And the Dodgers do. I mean, there has been widely known that they are one of the really used. But Tampa Bay is also one of those, and Tampa Bay's got to a Game 5 now against Houston. Well,
yeah, but
everybody's using them in some form. The Dodgers are definitely using them, probably as much or more than everybody else.
But you don't even have to go to analytics when it comes to lefty-lefty, righty-righty matchups. That's been happening for years and years and years.
And it really wasn't called analytics back then. Managers have been doing that. But just to give you a sense of where I'm coming from, the game prior to that, when he inserted Freeze in the lineup, that wasn't analytics. He just had a hunch that Freeze was going to hit, who was that pitcher in the third game for in that game for the Nationals, and Freeze had a big game. He was using instincts, not analytics.
Game 3 was Scherzer, wasn't it? No, that was Game 4 was Scherzer. Game 3 was Anibal Sanchez.
Freeze had some key hits to blow that game open, and that was just instincts. Remember, that's why they said they got Freeze to start with. He was a veteran with veteran playoff experience.
Yes. And you know what? They know that he has come through in the clutch in the postseason,
so
that was more of a gut decision. Yeah, Myron, I think you make a great point. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the phone call. Obviously, it started with sabermetrics, not called analytics, the same thing. It's the numbers game. But the lefty, righty, that's been happening forever. But the thing that drives me crazy now is you got your setup guys. Here's your 7th inning guy. Here's your 8th inning guy. And then you have your closer. Now, you've always had a closer. But the whole Snitker thing in game number 4 made no sense to me. So I understand what Myron's saying to a certain extent. I'm not a big numbers guy, but I understand why they use these numbers, because normally the numbers don't lie, but it doesn't always mean it's going to come through because you look at a favorable matchup.
But here's the thing, and maybe Dave Roberts or something, but he says the David Freeze in the lineup, that was just a hunch. That wasn't analytics. Do you know that? You don't know every decision that's based on a hunch versus decisions based on analytics. the Dodgers do set their lineup a lot based on analytics.
Yeah.
Like Dave Roberts is basically told what his lineup is going to be that night based on what their numbers tell him. So you don't get to, there's not like a little flag that comes up on every decision that says this one is analytics, this one's a hunch. Like you don't know.
That's true.
How these decisions are being made.
But you've heard managers sometimes talk about that listen, we look at the numbers, we have the capability of gathering all these numbers in this day and age, but also the human nature comes into play. I've heard managers say, sometimes sometimes it's a gut feeling for me that I think this guy's going to be able to come through. So that's just the human nature of things, and that's the way the game was played for a lot of years. You hoped because you felt that this guy was going to come through. Now you have numbers to either discourage that or back you up, and sometimes they don't come through. But I can understand a Dodgers fan who's upset that it's gone to Game 5. But look at the Nationals. They've set themselves up perfectly. If Scherzer was going to come through in Game 4, then they were in good shape, and he came through. Now they got to win on the road at Chavez Ravine, but they got Strasburg going, and we talked about his numbers yesterday. However, the Dodgers have Walker Buehler going. So I would hope for both these managers that they're not quick on the trigger, unless these guys really, really struggle like Verlander did last night on 3 days rest, because we could have an epic pitching matchup between Buehler and Strasburg tonight, and one mistake may be the difference in the series.
Yeah, it should be a fantastic pitching matchup. The other game is, with what Flaherty has done in the second half of the season, and then what Boltynewicz did in the earlier game in this series. We could see, and Game 5s, a lot of times, any Game 5, Game 7, when a winner take all games, I think generally you kind of feel like they could be lower scoring just because guys are tight. That's pressure. And the thing is, for the Dodgers have to be feeling a lot of pressure. They were the overwhelming favorites all season long. It was the Dodgers are the National League team. And then you had the Astros and Yankees in the American League. Well, you could go back and forth depending on which one you like more. But the Dodgers from day one, they ran away with the division. They have spent their $300 million. They are supposed to be the team in the National League. They've gotten really close the last few years, haven't been able to get the World Series win. So they've got to be feeling a lot of pressure, because if they were to go out in the division series, that is a big-time step back for them.
Well, how about the Astros? You just mentioned the Astros and the Yankees. The Astros are the favorite to win the whole thing. And now all of a sudden there's a fifth game. Now, I believe Garrett Cole tomorrow will take the mound. He will look as good as he did in Game 2. And the Astros will win, and they'll move on to play the Yankees. But if they lose, that's one of the monumental upsets that we've seen in the postseason, because certainly the Astros were the heavy favorites, and nobody expected that one to get to 5. Once the Rays won in Game 3 and put up 10, everybody and their mom thought, well, Verlander will shut him down in Game 4. And Verlander was not using the 3 days rest excuse. He didn't have it. The Rays got to him early, and they forced a Game 5. You give Kevin Cash and that Rays team a lot of credit. But if they can go into Houston and beat Garrett Cole, that's incredible.
Yeah, a lot of ways, I know the Astros, this is one of those things, like people are going to, in retrospect, look up and go, really? Why Verlander on 3 days rest when he had never done it? It did not work out. It did not look like a good decision now, because you could have basically thrown anybody out there. And if you take that loss, you say, all right, now we've got Verlander on full rest for Game 5. And even if he then struggles for any reason, we have Garrett Cole if we need him for an inning or two in relief. Now you don't have that option. They made the decision. They went with Verlander. It didn't work out. And now they put it on Cole, and he's extremely good, just like Verlander is. But that the Rays, the way they approach their pitching and everything else, I understand all the people like Melvin who don't like the analytics, but the Rays continue to show, or Myron, they continue to show you that there's a lot to analytics. The Rays are doing things that have never been done with the way they handle their pitching. They're the lowest payroll in baseball, and here they are forcing a Game 5 against the Astros. The Rays, there's a lot of positives that can come out of it too.
Well, yeah, you look back at Moneyball and look at the season the A's had. They continue to run their organization like that with Billy Beane. By the way, before we take the break, Rob Manfred with a little shot here under the radar yesterday that didn't get a lot of pub because how busy everything is in baseball and all sports. But I always thought this, the Oakland A's, the possibility of moving them to Vegas. They got the Raiders going there. Why not the A's? Here's one thing that won't happen. They will not put dirt in the infield of the new Raiders stadium and let the A's play there. They'd have to get a brand new baseball stadium because there's not going to be Cashman.
Well, I mean, we know that stadium in Oakland is old and raggedy. So there's a reason that Raiders didn't want to be there anymore. And yeah, I would imagine the A's would want something new one way or another.
Well, if you are Oakland, and I know it's just a hop, skip, and a jump and a drive over the bridge to San Francisco. So sports fans, even the Oakland diehards, can watch a lot of great sporting events across the bay, but they don't want to have to. They're right there in their neighborhood. They've lost the Warriors now, who have moved to San Francisco with the new arena. They're going to lose the Raiders to Las Vegas. They would hate to go 0-3 and lose 3. Could you imagine a city losing 3 major professional sports franchises? Well, this is when the city council and the powers that be have to step up and say, listen, we're going to bring you a new stadium. Now, they may say, well, we lost the Raiders. We're not getting them back. And we want to keep the A's, but we don't want to spend the money for one team. If it was both teams, maybe we'll do that. So that will be interesting to see because Las Vegas has money falling out of their pockets. And they already have a pro hockey team, an NHL team. They're getting the NFL team. They would love to have Major League Baseball as well. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue talking Major League Baseball playoffs. We discussed a little bit about this Hall of Fame class that's going in, the inaugural or bicentennial class for this Memphis Sports Hall of Fame. If you want to give us your thoughts on that. We talked a little bit about the Grizzlies as well. Maybe you checked out one of their first 2 preseason games, had a chance to see the team in action, albeit not the entire team. Jonas Valanciunas did not play, and only 20 minutes for a guy like John Moran or Jaren Jackson Jr., but maybe you have some thoughts on that. You can text in First Bank text line at 67129. You can message us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Or you can just call us at 360-8255. The First Bank phone lines are open. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, not for sale to minors. Website restricted to adults 21 and over.
Let's be real. Most smokers aren't looking for some overcomplicated vaping machine. That's why we created My Blue. My Blue is simple. Our pre-filled liquid pods mean there's no mess. One charge and My Blue lasts all day. And with our range of flavors and nicotine options, you have a choice. My Blue answers on what matters for smokers. Real nicotine satisfaction. And right now, try My Blue for $1 at select retailers or myblue.com.
Hewlett & Dunn, nestled on Old Town Square in Collierville, has 4,000 square feet of the largest boot selection in 200 miles. International boot legends Luke Casey, Double H, Red Wing, Ariat, Justin, and Tony Lama. Hewlett & Dunn has rubber hunting boots by Dry Shod and recently has expanded the selection of safety work boots. Filson Hunting Gear, biggest selection in 3 states, and now carrying Duckhead. Western wear, hunting attire, jeans, belts, hats, and more at 111 North Center Street, Collierville on Old Town Square. You need to stop by Hewlett & Dunn, you bet your boots.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. As most of you know, I don't have a history of bragging or boasting that Five Ash Roofing is the best roofer in the Memphis area, but did you know we are the only diamond-level roofing professional in the area? We are one of very few local roofing companies that have been in business for 20 years. We've never had a justified claim against us. We are locally owned and family operated. Our labor warranties are for the life of the shingles. We're experts in insurance claim. We do residential and commercial work. We are the official roofer of the University of Memphis Athletic Department and a proud member of the Tigers home team. We support local youth sports and St. Jude's. We have worked with churches and veteran services to help those in need by providing services at a deep discount or even for free. We are currently working with Young Life to give them a free roof on the historic log cabin in Germantown. Five Ash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing. It's what we do. We're here for you.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models. each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today. Shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. Luxury is waiting at Acura Memphis, or shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Mart. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
16 teams remain undefeated in the FBS, including Appalachian State, and they're in action tonight. A little Wednesday night college football. In fact, there's just the one game tonight, but we have 3 tomorrow night. App State tonight put their undefeated record on the line against Louisiana Lafayette. And Lafayette is a 1.5-point favorite. So one game tonight. You got the 3, as I mentioned, tomorrow. And then you have 4 games on Friday night, including Virginia at Miami, Colorado at Oregon, and then a full slate of games on Saturday. So I was talking about these undefeated teams with 16 still remaining, including the Memphis Tigers. That line is now moved to -6 at Temple.
People like Memphis. Memphis has been covering.
Started out.
They've had trouble against Temple. Now, this is obviously a new Temple coach, all that stuff, but this is they've had trouble offensively against Temple. Probably the hardest team they've had, most trouble they've had scoring against anybody in the American is Temple.
Well, Temple's always put together a really good defense. The over-under for the game is only 50.5. And as I said, it's 6 Tigers favored. They started out, I believe it was 4 or 4.5, and it's moved to -6. Oklahoma will play Texas in the Red River rivalry. Oklahoma's an 11.5-point favorites. They are one of the 16 remaining undefeated teams. But if somebody's going to dethrone Oklahoma, now Texas has a great opportunity here. They could meet again in the championship. And there's a couple of other teams that want to have their say-so, like a rejuvenated Baylor team. But really, it comes down to these 2 teams, more than likely.
Yeah, we saw last year they had the rematch of the championship game after Texas won the regular season game. Could very well go that same way this year. Certainly for Texas, having already had a loss, they can't afford another one. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see them twice, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see them split again.
Boise State, one of those 16 undefeated teams, they are a 12-point favorite over Hawaii. And normally Hawaii struggles away from the islands, but not this year. I don't know if they can go onto the blue turf and win that game, but I wouldn't count them out.
Yeah, I don't know what the weather is in Boise right now.
It's not. It's not tropical. I'm gonna guess.
I know it's not going to be the same as Honolulu. There will be a slight difference.
Just a slight difference.
But at least I don't know that they're getting snow or anything yet, so they may not be that bad.
There's a big snowstorm, like somewhere in that area, but I'm not sure if it's Boise.
Yeah, I don't. I have not checked the weather in Boise recently because I don't plan on going to Boise anytime in. I was going to say the near future, but anytime in the future, I don't plan on going to Boise. They ship the potatoes to me, so I'm just fine.
Georgia, another undefeated team, 24.5-point favorite over South Carolina. South Carolina had that impressive win over Kentucky, then had a bye week. Other undefeated teams in action, Baylor, an 11-point favorite over Texas Tech. Texas Tech showed me something last week in that win over Oklahoma State. I did not expect that. They got it done. Let's see who else. Wisconsin, 10.5-point favorite over Michigan State. Problem with Michigan State is they have no offense. They can't score.
And if your offense isn't very good, I don't know how you're going to score against Wisconsin's defense, which has, 3 shutouts now?
Mm-hmm.
And then held, what did Michigan get against them? 3, 7, 10, something like that? I mean, it was not much. I mean, they're giving up nothing on the year.
Florida will take their undefeated record into Baton Rouge to take on LSU. LSU currently a 13.5-point favorite. Alabama will play at College Station against the Aggies of Texas A&M. They're a 16.5-point favorite. These are the undefeated teams that remain in college football. Clemson, 27-point favorite over Florida State. They're playing in Death Valley. Penn State, a 3.5-point favorite as they travel to Iowa. We will take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some college football with Jerry Palm from CBSSports.com. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Get your gun, Nelly, and saddle up Penelope. It's Western Trading Days at Sunrise Buick GMC. Old-time trading prices on over 700 new Buicks and GMC trucks, and the Sunrise Used Car Corral has over 500 in stock. Ranch managers have been told to cut prices to the bone, and remember, you can bring your car to Sunrise Service no matter where you bought it. If you're a good person with bad credit, SunriseMemphis.com will help you put one of your brand on these little fillies. Free hot dogs and Cokes at the Chuck Wagon. Western Trading Days going on now at all 3 Sunrise locations. We make it fun to buy a car again.
And this corner is Bob, the Beast of Bar Graphs, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Fall is fast approaching, and you know what that means. Time to start thinking about covering your pool. The best way to protect your pool, your loved ones, and your pocketbook is with a safety pool cover. Mario's Pools on Exeter and Germantown has the best advertised price on all pool safety covers, solid and mesh. Keep your pool looking great year after year. A safety cover requires less maintenance, saves money on chemicals and water, prevents standing water, and extends the life of your liner. Call Mario's Pools at 552-3399. That's 552-3399. Or just walk in and see him in Germantown on Exeter Road. Plus, he specializes in pool closings. Mario's has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Check out his reviews on Facebook. Protect your investment. Call Mario's Pools today. 552-3399.
In today's evolving workplace, XMC understands the process of getting office work done has moved from the desktop to your pocket. The new Xerox multifunctional printers and Connect Key app technology are game changers. Are you working with confidential information? Does it need to be secure from unwanted threats? Do you need to translate documents to another language? Xerox's App Gallery provides solutions like secure printing and easy translator technology. XMC is the second largest exclusive Xerox agent in the U.S. with 9 locations to serve you. We've been in business for over 25 years and have received top awards from Xerox. In changing our world one experience at a time, our team's committed to doing what's right for your business. XMC is proud to be your leader in document and print management, and it'd be our pleasure to serve you. Contact XMC today at 888-814-3114 or visit our website at xmcinc.com. XMC, excellence in office solutions.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
Well, she was an American girl, raised up in promises.
Welcome back, everybody. 11 o'clock is the time. Hour 2, Sports 56 Middays on this hump day, Wednesday, October 9th, 2019. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Austin Eldridge. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Their Factory Direct pool table and spa sale going on right now. That's free installation on all in-stock pool tables, free playing package, free choice of felt pool tables as low as $12.99. Check them out at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, all the terrific folks at the FedEx Corporation. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. It is Wednesday. It's time for Jerry Palm.
It's time for Sports 56 Middays Weekly Chat with Jerry Palm, college football and basketball writer for CBSSports.com. Here are Greg, Eli, and Jerry.
He is Jerry Palm, CBSSports.com. You can follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. You can catch him every Wednesday right here during both the college football and college basketball seasons. Hey, JP, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm really looking forward to doing 15 minutes on the Purdue-Maryland game on Memphis radio.
So here's the thing. I was asked on Monday. Eli was off on Monday, and somebody had asked me to handicap this game. And here's the thing. I've been bragging about how I know Maryland left and right, win or loss. I don't know much about handicapping, but I'm pretty good with Maryland. And so I had the Penn State demolition. I had them doing the same to Rutgers last week. These are easy picks. This one is strange because of the injuries with Purdue. I would normally say Purdue would win. I would normally say that, but I'm worried about the injury. So update me on their health.
Yeah, so really, both teams are kind of in the same boat. I see this as a pretty even matchup, and I think we could break the scoreboard because neither team can block, neither team can tackle. They're both playing backup quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is, but they have pretty good skill position guys, both teams, like the receivers, the backs. Purdue's backs aren't bad, but they're not getting numbers because nobody can block for them.
How are they in handling speedy teams? Because the one thing Maryland has, they're not ferocious, they're not big and strong, but they are fast, and that's why I said it was an easy pick against Rutgers because their speed would dominate.
Yeah, well, that was Purdue's problem with Minnesota, but that was I see this as a pretty similar game. Like Minnesota's probably the worst, what are they, 6-0, 5-0 team in the history of college football. I mean,
worst undefeated team.
There's a reason why they're not ranked, right? They've beaten the butt. Well, the win at Fresno State is actually not a bad win, I think, but their defense is terrible. Their offensive line is bad, and that's basically Maryland. So Purdue's problem with Minnesota was they have really good receivers, like stud receivers, and Purdue couldn't cover them. So, if they didn't get to the quarterback, they were just running free in the secondary. And Maryland could have that as well if their quarterback can get them the ball. But Josh Jackson's not playing because he's got that high ankle sprain.
Right.
During the waste of the final 20 seconds of the first half of the Maryland game, or the Rutgers game. The heck were they thinking? So the backup's going to play. And, it's what do you got, like 3 redshirt freshman offensive linemen? Purdue's playing, 3 freshmen and sophomore offensive linemen, and they've been running guys in and out at that position and running guys in and out of the secondary. And, the Purdue's receivers are good. Their backs are good. The quarterback is good enough to get him the ball if he's upright, but Penn State sacked him 10 times. So,
It's extremely tough to handicap this one. But if Maryland's going to get the 6, they really need to win this game. So we'll see.
Yeah, I saw Maryland as much as a 5-point favorite, and I'm thinking, no way. This is not. I mean, that could happen, of course, and it could just as easily happen the other way. The line should be a lot closer than 5.
Are you guys done
Eli's
now?
Staring at me.
Are you guys done now?
Yeah.
That's enough Maryland Purdue talk for
I know.
a lifetime.
Sorry. I told you it'd be a 15-minute second on Maryland. 15-minute second.
JP warned us.
So, Jerry, what's your thoughts on Florida after coming off the really impressive win against Auburn, but now got to go on the road at LSU?
I'm sorry. I've been focused on Purdue, Maryland. I haven't thought about anybody else. No, that was a great win over Auburn. I mean, really, Auburn had done a great job with managing, a bit of a landmine schedule, to say the least. The Florida game is a tough game, but they still have 3 tougher ones coming. And, that just caught up to them. I mean, Florida's a team that could get physical with them. Auburn got physical with A&M, and A&M didn't match it. And I think that's what cost them. But Florida was able to get physical with them and force Bo Nix into some mistakes. And it turned into, I think a pretty good win for Florida. But now you go to LSU, and it's a different story. I mean, that offense is on fire. And Florida would do well to hold them under, 28. If they can keep them in the low 20s, then maybe Florida's got a shot, but I just don't see it. I mean, they're not going to get run out of the building, but I just don't see it happening.
It's really amazing, though, to think, like a team that was already in the top 10, who just had an impressive win over another top 10 team, and then is almost a 2-touchdown underdog the following week.
Yeah, I know. That seems unfair. I think the 2-touchdown line is like, gosh, the defense ought to be able to keep them in the game a little better than that, but I don't know. I mean, LSU's offense has been so good. I certainly don't think Florida can win by 2 touchdowns unless those 2 touchdowns come from their defense.
Well, look, the odds makers obviously believe that the top 6 teams or so in college football are so much head and shoulders above everybody else. That's why they put these lines out there. But
it's nice to have 6 teams to talk about, though, instead of 2.
Well, that's true. But on your picks on CBSSports.com, I am assuming you took Florida because of the points. You took the 13.5.
I took Florida to cover. Yeah, Florida to cover.
Okay.
I think LSU wins. I just took Florida to cover.
It's all. I do wonder how much Florida has left. I mean, you could talk about it. I mean, there is something to be said. I mean, when you see teams coming off big wins a lot of times the next week. Now, this is a huge game, but going on the road to a place like this is a tough task.
And is Kyle Trask 100% after the hit?
Well, that's a good question. But I'll tell you what, it's the SEC. You better show up.
Yeah. Oh,
you
have to.
You can't get too high over a win in that league. Because the next opponent might be just as good or better.
And that's why people who doubt the SEC, and that's what people who doubt the SEC just look at that. Look at this example right here.
And then in a couple weeks they got Georgia. I mean, just think about the schedule they're going through right now.
Yeah. And their schedule's a cakewalk compared to Auburn, who's already played Oregon and A&M and Florida all the way from home, and still has to go to LSU. They get Alabama and Georgia at home. Good for them, right?
Congratulations.
Outside, and maybe still the biggest game, even over the Florida LSU game, although Florida and LSU, obviously a battle of top 10 teams. Right. Oklahoma and Texas. Texas not that far outside the top 10, but they do have a loss. The Red River rivalry.
Right.
You're taking Texas again, but again, is this points, or do you think they're winning the game?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Texas can win. I think that, they did win last year. And Texas is better this year, but I think Oklahoma is too. And I think the difference for Oklahoma this year is that their defense is better. I think they have a chance to slow them down a little bit. It'll be a high-scoring game, kind of like the Texas-LSU game was. Was that 45-38? I wouldn't be surprised to see numbers like that. I just think Oklahoma comes out on top this time. But they could cover that. Oklahoma's good enough to cover that 11-point spread. But I like Texas to.
Can they get to Hurts? Can they get to him?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. No, I don't think they can. But I think Texas's offense is going to keep them in the game too. It's. I would be surprised if this is something like 24-21. That does not feel like either one of those defenses is good enough to play that kind of game.
Jared, the win by Cincinnati over UCF last week.
Terrific game.
Yes, it was,
and terrific win for them.
If Cincinnati ends up being your American Conference champion, how would you compare them and Boise?
Well, Cincinnati with a loss to Ohio State, and in which they got annihilated. Although Ohio State's very good. I mean, their fates depend somewhat on Ohio State, but I would be surprised if undefeated Boise finished behind one loss Cincinnati.
It's really the worst. In a lot of ways, that's kind of if Cincinnati were to end up winning the American, and there's a long way to go, or they may not even win the East, let alone win the whole thing. But it kind of hurts the whole group of 5 arguments about being in the playoff when you're the one of the best champions just got absolutely annihilated. Like you said, they got shut out. I mean, they couldn't even score against Ohio State. That would not be good for those people that think those teams deserve spots in the playoff.
Yeah, well, true. But to me, that game was kind of an indicator of how good Ohio State is, to me, because I thought Cincinnati was pretty good, and they have been pretty good. But Ohio State just laid waste to them.
I mean, Ohio State, it's week in, week out. They are just dominating everybody.
Yeah, but guys, forget about the comparison between a non-P5 or P6 in the case of the American and the big boys. The deal with the American Conference to me is it head and shoulders above the rest of the group of 5 conferences? And to me, it is. And when I look at Boise State, even if they run the table, this schedule, I'm sorry, it does not compare to what's going on in the American. So I think a one-loss conference champion, Cincinnati, Memphis, Tulane, SMU, whoever it is, one loss is better than what Boise's doing. I'm sorry. Portland State, UNLV.
I don't think the will agree with you.
No, they won't. No, they won't. They won't agree with me. But I'm looking at this thing, and New Mexico and San Jose State, these are not comparable to what we're seeing in the American. The Americans got 3 teams in the top 25 right now, and none of them are named UCF.
Right. By the way, San Jose won at Arkansas.
Yeah, but Arkansas is putrid. Come on.
Oh, I know. But that's still,
it is a win. It is.
With they stink in the SEC, but it's I think the American is better. I don't know if they're this year that much better than the Mountain West, but the last few years I think the American's been better. But I still think Boise State's really good, and I doubt very seriously they would leave an undefeated team out.
Yeah,
unless they had 2 of them to choose from.
Right. No, I'm not down what you're saying, but
be the case. You've got. I think Memphis is still undefeated, right?
Yes.
So that's Memphis is my pick to win the league. Now, I think that's a pretty good team.
Well, look,
now,
if Memphis runs the table,
Boise. What's that? I think undefeated Memphis when they out undefeated Boise.
That's what I was just going to say. Memphis undefeated in that conference. Nice win over Ole Miss. That trumps anything. I still think it does with one loss, but.
I think so. I think it would. I mean, I don't think they're ahead of. Are they ahead of them now? They're not, are they?
No, Boise's like 14, aren't they? Or where are they at? They're 14,
well,
15, 16.
In the polls, right?
Yeah, in the polls.
Again, of course.
Exactly.
And the thing too, I mean, Memphis in some ways that Cincinnati win over UCF. I mean, Memphis gets Cincinnati in the regular season, so they want Cincinnati to be as good as possible.
They could go back to back.
They could literally play them back to back weeks if Cincinnati doesn't lose another conference.
But there's a lot of obstacles for Memphis. I mean, this is not going to be easy. This Saturday's not going to be easy at Temple.
Yeah, they're 3.5-point favorites. I think
it's up to 6 now.
Is it really?
It's up to 6. Yeah, I just went over it a few seconds.
Better 3.5.
Well, so you on your page on CBSSports.com, check out Jerry. He's got an upset of the week. I was talking earlier about the fact there's 16 remaining undefeateds in the FBS, one of them being Minnesota, and we talked about how they're not even ranked. They are an 8-point favorite. 8-point favorite over Nebraska. But, again, they're undefeated. Nebraska's had a couple of losses, looked terrible in the game against Ohio State. But Nebraska I know it's Ohio State. No, I understand. I understand. But they didn't look great in the win over Northwestern, 13-10.
But it was a win.
But you are taking Nebraska straight up. You don't even need the points, right?
Yeah, that's what that means. And I got to say this. I think I even wrote this. I've seen Minnesota in person. They've got fantastic receivers, and their running backs aren't too bad either.
Mm-hmm.
And but their defense is terrible. Purdue scored 31 on them in a game when Moore and Sindelar went out on the same play.
Right.
They only had 3 points at that time. The backup quarterback comes in unprepared to play, because Sindelar takes most of the reps with the first team, right? So that's like the worst situation is when the guy has to come in cold off the bench, and Purdue scored 28 points on Minnesota the rest of the way without Rondell Moore and without their senior quarterback. Minnesota's defense is terrible. Their offensive line isn't all that good. If the receivers have time to run, they can really run. I mean, they're really good. But, man, I think Nebraska is better. They haven't shown – they haven't lived up to the hype because it wasn't possible to live up to the hype. But I still think they're better than, whatever it was, 48-3 or whatever the Ohio State game was. And, Northwestern plays those 13-10 games, and they still found a way to win playing Northwestern style. So I think Nebraska will be okay. They're not going to win the division. That's Wisconsin, but they're better than Minnesota.
Well, speaking of ugly games, there was nothing uglier than Michigan, Iowa last week. My eyes still have not stopped bleeding from that thing. I mean, Iowa looked terrible. I was like watching, like, oh my gosh, this team they can't do anything offensive. Like, they get over they could get to the 40 without a problem, but then from that point on, it was just disaster every time. Michigan couldn't do anything. Now Iowa, Penn State. What do you think there?
I like Iowa at home, at least with the points. I like Iowa at home, although I think I'm picking them to win straight up too. They're better than they showed last week. Everybody has a day, and Iowa's better than that. That'll be a real physical kind of an eye bleeder kind of game too. By the way, the Big Ten, you throw the Nebraska Northwestern game and the Michigan Iowa game today together, they scored 36 combined points, 14 in 2 games.
Hey, that's today's football. Come on now.
That is just, I'm telling you, that Michigan Iowa game.
That's like the first quarter for Oklahoma. I think I like Iowa. I think Penn State hasn't really been tested yet.
But we don't know. We don't know how good they are, right? We don't know yet what Penn State's all about.
No, I mean they got up 28-0 on Purdue and then took the rest of the game off. It's 59-0 against Maryland. I mean, it's just Penn State hasn't played anybody yet that makes you stand up and take notice. So I think if they can go into Iowa and win, that would be I think pretty impressive. Iowa's defense is going to give them problems because they've got a really good defense. And they can usually run the ball, even though they couldn't do it against Michigan the way Wisconsin did. But nobody does it the way Wisconsin does. But that figures to be another bigger, most likely.
All right. Do we need to be paying or talking more about Wisconsin?
I was just going to ask you that.
I mean, their defense is allowed like 10 points all year, it feels like, and Jonathan Taylor's just going nuts.
Wisconsin's destroying everybody. And they've actually played some teams. But they get Michigan State at home this weekend, and Michigan State's defense is probably the one defense in the league best suited to give Wisconsin trouble. So it'll be interesting to see if they can do that. If they can give Wisconsin some problems. Michigan's defense just roll over for them. Michigan State's defense will not roll over for them.
Michigan State can't score. This game will be 10-0. It'll be 10-0.
That's why I still pick Wisconsin to cover 10 points, but I don't think it's going to be 42-3. They're not going to annihilate them the way they did Michigan. This feels a lot more like a 21-10 game, and Wisconsin finds a way. But it's going to be a lot harder for Wisconsin to go up and down the field the way they have against everybody else.
Hey, since you're up there in Big Ten country, I don't know if you follow the fan bases, but is there a little like displeasure roar coming from the Michigan State fans that Mark D'Antonio cannot bring in any offensive players, seemingly? I mean, they can't score?
I haven't heard it. Their offense has been inconsistent. They've shown up at times. They put up 31 on Northwestern, which, Northwestern's defense has been pretty good. But, it's really been hit and miss and mostly missed. The defense is always there. Their offense should have been better this year. And I don't know why it's not. But they've got a senior quarterback who's considered to be a pretty decent player. They've got some guys, they just aren't clicking. It's in a way, it's a lot like Michigan's offense, except I think Michigan State's quarterback might be better.
If you look at Wisconsin, they've given up 4 touchdowns on the year.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them came to Michigan. 2 to Michigan. After they were
the first point even scored against Wisconsin this year.
And that was after they were up 30.
Opponents.
They were up 35-0 at that point, and Michigan scores 2 touchdowns. And then they gave up 2 to Northwestern after they were up 24-3. It's like the only touchdowns they've given up this year have been when they've been blowing out opponents.
Time, basically, yeah. Garbage time touchdowns.
It's insane.
3 of their terrible non-conference opponents, which includes American Conference team South Florida. But, they've been dominant on both sides of the ball. And they play Ohio State, I think, in 2 weeks. At the Horseshoe in Columbus, and then likely again in the championship game, which I believe is Indianapolis. So, it's why I'm a little bit hesitant to pull the trigger on Ohio State for a playoff team. But I think, those are the 2 that have completely separated themselves in the Big Ten. Completely.
Yeah, you're right. They've got Illinois and then Ohio State after this week. Mm-hmm. So, and then they got Iowa. They get a week off in between Ohio State and Iowa.
That will be the rare Big Ten game, other than when my Terps play, that I'll be interested in watching. Because
Wisconsin?
Yes, because all the other ones, I couldn't care less. When I pop that TV on, it's 11 a.m. Central Time, and I got some Northwestern versus Illinois game. Yeah, I'm just not tuned in.
Yeah, it's Oklahoma, Texas this week. If you're not watching Purdue, Maryland, I'll be on the field with the marching band. We have alumni band this week, so I'll be in traction by halftime. But
I'm sure America will be tuned into Maryland, Purdue over Oklahoma, Texas. I don't know why. I mean, Oklahoma, Texas will really struggle for ratings against Purdue and Maryland. I'll tell you that last week.
Purdue and Maryland could be entertaining in a Keystone Cops kind of way.
Yeah, don't remind me.
The Michigan-Iowa game was it at some point became like a car wreck. I couldn't take my eyes off of it, but didn't know why I was looking at it. Like I was like, what am I doing? Why do I keep watching this game? But I just kept watching to see if maybe somebody would score some points, and they didn't.
I'm sorry, but that's one of
because Iowa got inside the 40-yard line like 7 times. I think it was. It got 3 points.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. There's too many of those teams in the Big Ten, and the one team we never talk about, and there's no reason to talk about them because they're always horrible, and I just don't get it. Why can't Illinois figure out, like all these years, they've been so bad, yet there are teams that they've put together that have been great, Illinois. It's been forever.
Yeah, but they haven't been good for 20 years probably.
I know. Right? Why can't they get...
Yeah, that's an excellent question. They keep hiring the wrong coach is the answer.
It's also hard. I'm
sure he doesn't feel this way, but that's a golden parachute job for Lovie Smith.
Right. But you're telling me like a guy like
it's a tough recruiting job. Too.
I'm not saying he would go there.
Players in Illinois.
Yeah, but Notre Dame and all these others coming to take them.
Yeah, but if you had a prolific offensive minded guy, if you had Mike Leach at Illinois, I guarantee in a couple of years they're competitive, really competitive.
I have no doubt in my mind Scott Frost would win at Illinois. Jeff Brom would win at Illinois. I mean, there's coaches in the Big Ten that would win at Illinois. It's just not happening.
What are we saying? Win,
like not win
7 wins.
Beat Ohio State, Michigan, but Illinois should be going to bowl games.
Oh, without a doubt.
They didn't get enough wins in 2 years to go to a bowl game.
They should be winning 8-9 games. Illinois, they should.
Yeah, Illinois.
Remember the days?
Especially Illinois should be competitive in the West Division. And they're not.
Right.
They're the one team that's absolutely not competitive.
But you're right. It's been forever. I mean, you got to go back and think of some of those teams that were playing in the Rose Bowl.
Jeff George ain't walking through that door.
Right. Dick Butkus and Red Grange is not walking through that door.
Trudeau's not walking through that door. That's a tough job.
But they used to be able to get them, and now they can't. All right. He is Jerry Palm. CBSSports.com.
There's a lot of teams, but there's a lot of better programs than them that are saying the same thing.
I know, but as Jerry said, you're also it's Chicago to be able to get some of those players to go to the University of Illinois, for goodness sakes, but they used to be able to do it. Jerry will be on the field, Purdue and Maryland, and the marching band. Don't kill yourself, Jerry. We want to talk to you next week. Read all his great stuff at CBSSports.com. Follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. Have a lot of fun out there, all right?
All right, thanks. I'll try and be off the pain meds by Tuesday.
Take care. Jerry Palm, CBSSports.com. All right, we will take a break. When we come back, we were just telling you earlier in the show about this inaugural Hall of Fame class, the bicentennial class with 22 inductees tomorrow night, some posthumously. But we are very pleased to be joined in just a few moments by one of those Hall of Famers, our good friend, Dr. Rochelle Stevens. She'll join us next.
I always tell you about East Coast Wings and Grill and all the great stuff, the great food and the fun atmosphere, watching the games, everything over at East Coast Wings and Grill. Also, I want to tell you that they've got coming up on Halloween Day, that morning, they are going to be doing a golf scramble over at Galloway to benefit Porter Leith. It's going to be an 8 a.m. shotgun start Halloween morning. Breakfast and lunch will be served. There will be mimosa and Bloody Mary bars as well. Afterwards, awards and good times over at East Coast Wings, where there will be a full buffet and drinks served with a silent auction with all kinds of great stuff, live entertainment, and more. If you want to get involved with this, contact them at East Coast Wings and Grill. Again, it's going to benefit Porter Leith. It is Halloween morning. It is at Galloway Golf Course, 8 a.m. shotgun start. Again, with food, drinks, and awards and silent auction and everything else afterwards at East Coast Wings and Grill. They're located just off Highway 64 next to the Lowe's. Of course, with today being Wednesday, that means they've got live music tonight that you can go check out up there. Happy hour every day, 3:30 to 6, or Monday through Friday, 3:30 to 6, and 9 to close, with great specials on appetizers, draft beers, a 2-for-1 wine for the ladies. Go check them out, East Coast Wings and Grill. And again, if you want to get involved with this 4-man scramble on Halloween, just contact them at East Coast Wings and Grill.
We have a text from Michael, who's watching or listening to the show. Go vote Tigers punter Adam Williams for Ray Guy National Punter of the Week. All he did was get a 77-yard punt off. I think he's 11th now, if I'm not mistaken, nationally in punting net yardage. So I think that's an astute little statement from Michael. Let's get out there and vote for one Adam Williams. We'll take a break. Dr. Rochelle Stevens joins us next in studio. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, not for sale to minors. Website restricted to adults 21 and over.
Let's be real. Most smokers aren't looking for some overcomplicated vaping machine. That's why we created My Blue. My Blue is simple. Our pre-filled liquid pods mean there's no mess. One charge and My Blue lasts all day. And with our range of flavors and nicotine options, you have a choice. My Blue answers on what matters for smokers. Real nicotine satisfaction. And right now, try My Blue for $1 at select retailers or myblue.com.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
And this corner is Bob the Beast of Bar Graphs, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together...
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Hey Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 66, 96.1 and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week, John will be live from the Wolf Chase Honda Mobile Studios as he travels back from Philadelphia. I'll be joined in studio, though, by Gabe Kuhn and former Memphis Tiger punter Spencer Smith.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays. As we were talking about in hour number one, the Memphis Sports Council, Memphis Redbirds, and Memphis Tourism have started a Memphis Sports Hall of Fame, and it's about time. It's the Memphis Sports Experience and Hall of Fame, which will be located at AutoZone Park. And this first class, this inaugural class, they're calling it the Bicentennial class. And there will be a big ceremony tomorrow with a lot going on honoring the 22 inductees. And As I went over the list earlier, some obviously have left us. They've passed away posthumously. They'll be honored, but they will have family members and friends, and then many others who will be there at the ceremony tomorrow night, including our very good friend, Dr. Rochelle Stevens, the former Olympic track star, the gold medalist and silver medalist winner who has stayed here in Memphis. Her home is her home. She's not moved away. She's been around the world, but she always comes back, and she's here. And she looks as beautiful as ever. Congratulations on the great honor.
Thank you very much. I'm so elated to get this honor. I'm just proud that I was chosen to be a part of the 22.
When did you find out about this and find out that there's going to be this Memphis Sports Hall of Fame?
Well, I received a telephone call and said, hey, you have been selected to go into the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame. And I said, really? Well, when did we get that? and they said, well, your letter is going to come, but we want to at least see if you're interested in the acceptance of the award. So, I'm not turning down any award. Hey, it could be who can eat the most Hall of Fame. I would put me in your Hall of Fame.
Are you in any other halls of fame?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
This will be my 8th one that I'm going into. So I am currently in Morgan State University, Hall of Fame, my alma mater, and the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Hall of Fame, the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, Melrose High School Hall of Fame, the AAU Junior Olympics Hall of Fame. I am also in the Global Communications Hall of Fame at Morgan State University because I was a global communications major. They changed the word. It was telecommunication back in the 80s. And how many was that? Were you all?
I think 6. I think you got the 6. I think you got the 6.
Man, that's impressive.
So I know that this will be my 8th Hall of Fame, and I'm just so honored. I said I didn't know anything about Hall of Fames as a little kid. I just knew I wanted to go to the Olympics. But when you get older and you hanging out with your friends that are world-class athletes and other athletes, the first thing you say is, yo, man, how many Hall of Fames you're in?
Well, the other a week ago, when was Media Day for the Grizzlies? A week ago, Monday, right? This past Monday, a week ago. So we had some players on who have been given a day in their honor. They've had, and John Morant's had 2, right? Yeah. Have you ever had a Rochelle Stevens Day?
Well, I have. Yeah, I think I have had 3 of them, but I don't think we did anything special on my day.
Did you get like a key to the city or anything?
Yeah, I got the key to the city, but it was like about the size of a safety pin. And so,
it doesn't open up anything.
You still haven't figured out what it opens.
Being all country, I was like, wow, large city, So I guess they were like, she is so ungrateful. But yes, I have the key to the city. And, I do have an honorary street. It's Olympia and Rochelle Stevens Avenue right in front of Melrose High School. So I asked City Council to place my sign up real high because I didn't want nobody to take my sign.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So it's way up there, huh?
It's up high.
You need a really big ladder.
Yes, it's like, no, don't give him a hint. So, hey, I'm just so honored that the council and the Hall of Fame committee all considered and thought enough to put me into this Hall of Fame. So it's a great honor because I have had the opportunity to represent Team USA and of course, Memphis in 6 continents and 50-plus countries for 12 consecutive years, being one of the top 400-meter runners in the USA for over a decade. So when you go, of course, USA, but a lot of the foreigners will say, so where are you from in the States? Where are you from? And I get to say, I'm from Memphis. And I remember dancing with Prince Albert in Monte Carlo because he thought I was a queen from Africa. I had on the dashiki, they had the big tall stuff they wear, and all the athletes, man, you look like one of those queens. And people kept bowing to me, and so when the French saw me, they just knew that I was a dignitary because you did have Beatrice there from the UK and Prince Albert, like I said, and all these other kings and things from Pakistan and Iran, and so they come to these events at the track meets, and they took me to the front, and I was like, oh my gosh, So I didn't say anything the whole night. I just was nodding like on, that movie called Coming to America. Yes. I was like, all night. And when the prince danced with me, he was speaking in French. And, of course, I didn't know what he was saying. And
just nodding?
And then he went to Spanish. We're slow dancing now.
Prince Albert's hitting on you.
And I didn't know any Spanish. I just knew one word, maybe two words. And then he finally comes around to English, and he said, "Please forgive me for not knowing what tribe you represent.
Oh, gosh.
But could you please tell me where you're from?" And I said,
a tribe called Memphis.
The Memphis tribe.
"Hey, I'm from Africa, remember? He called it a tribe." I was like,
Oh, my gosh.
And I said, "I'm from Memphis." And he went, "Elvis Presley, Memphis?" And I said, "Yes." And I pulled out my little gold card, which was a business card. And I said, "If you ever get lonely, you just call me." And I gave him my card, and I walked off like the Lone Ranger.
Oh, my gosh.
So, I wrote that in my book. I traveled the world by foot. I have an autobiography, and I wrote about some of my favorite countries that I traveled to, and I kind of told that story.
That's hilarious. I can only imagine what's going through his head at that point. So she didn't understand a word I just said at all to begin all of that stuff.
Well, in Europe, most of those people speak at least 5, 6, 8, 10 languages. So I figured in the U.S. we speak at least 2 or 3. We speak Ebonics, that's 1. We speak in slang, that's 2. And we speak broken English, that's 3. So we speak in 4 languages over here, too.
We are as intelligent as everybody around the world.
What is your favorite country you ever visited?
My favorite country was Nice. I love Nice, France, which was just down the street from Monte Carlo, where Prince Albert hangs out, and all the billionaires and millionaires live there. I mean, their cabs are Mercedes-Benz.
Right.
And they wear Rolex like we was wearing Timex watches. So I got a chance to just see a whole lot. But any country that I won in was my favorite country. So the UK, I hung out in the UK a whole lot. So I would say that's my second home away from the U.S. And it was always cloudy and kind of foggy. So like today, I just felt like I went to London, and I just felt so comfortable. Like, oh, yeah. I even perform really well when it's cloudy. Some people can't perform on cloudy days, but Rochelle stepped up to the plate. I like cloudy days.
You do like cloudy days. Okay.
Yeah, I love cloudy days.
Who was for you guys and your gold medal winning team and even the silver medal winning team? Who was the biggest competition for you guys? What country?
Everybody.
Well, they were all coming for you, but who was the one?
No, come on now. I'm with the folks when it was communist, and they didn't have a choice but to be on steroids. So the Russian men, okay, they were women, but the Russian men.
Did they have mustaches?
Beards, hair on the chest, bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger, 6 feet, 6'1". That was the average height. I thought I was tall, but when I got over there, I was kind of short compared to the Russians, the Romanians, the Bulgarians, and the Germans. So that was our competition, the world. So when my friends say, "Hey, we're world champions in football," I'm like, "You ain't play nobody but a team down the street." So what you won in Super Bowl, that's nice. You didn't play nobody but somebody in the United States.
Right.
We literally had to race people from around the world every other night in Europe on the European circuit. So to me, track and field, we are the real world champions. We the real Olympic champions because you facing your competitors from foreign countries that are the best from their country. Not the neighborhood, but the whole country.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When you're running in the Olympics, do you remember everything about the race, or does that kind of a blur and then you the medal ceremony is the thing you remember?
I remember everything. You remember from your warm-up to if you didn't perform as well as you would like, or, the press is always on you about performing. I mean, you can win and they'll say, "Oh, well, you won, but y'all didn't break a world record." "Oh, you won, but you didn't blow them out." You can't really appreciate the hard work and the commitment and the dedication that you put into it, because they're always on you about what you didn't do or what they thought you should have done. And so when I look at it now, it's still pretty much the same. So as a motivational speaker, I now go to NFL, NBA, or college teams, and I teach them how to handle the press. And the name of my workshop is called The Press Playbook.
Right.
So that way you can know how to channel that energy and appreciate the hard work that you put in, and you won't be like me at the age I am now saying, wow, I was really hot stuff back in the day. But I didn't think I was hot stuff because I was always criticized. Like the first time I won this silver medal in the Olympics in Memphis was like, oh, man, you didn't even win.
You didn't win the gold.
You didn't win. You let that Russian beat you. What?
Right.
What?
So do you believe with all the speeches that you do and the motivational talks that there are a lot of athletes out there that are affected by negative press, that it will really get to them and affect their performance?
Of course. Yes. And you see it from just the answers, because if you provoked, we're human. We have feelings as well. And you sitting there provoking and telling a person what they didn't do, what they should have did, and what you should wear and what you should drive. I mean, take Penny for an example. And everybody was like, oh, why he's got to be dressed up? I just thought he looked good. But they made a big deal about what he was wearing. And I was like, yo, Penny, why don't you really show them how to dress up? Pull up at the game in your Bentley with a mink coat on and get out and step out on that court. That's what I would do. He looked at me like, Rochelle, going on. But you got to know how to play the game.
Right,
You got to know how to play the game. And I definitely learned to master the game as an athlete because I was a communications major, but I learned how to deal with the press and play the game. And now I'm going back teaching this generation, if they let me in the doors, teach them how to play the game.
Well, I guess what you're talking about too is like it's almost handling expectations a little bit. Like if people have, I mean, you could do great, and if people are going to try and act like you didn't live up to your expectations, like if you won, you won. I mean, the bottom line is, I mean, you can't always keep raising the bar, saying, well, you didn't do this. I mean, I did what I went to do, and that was win a gold medal. What more am I supposed to do?
You're supposed to break a world record. Hey, Rochelle, you didn't blow them out. I thought you were so good. But, I know people have expectations, but what's most important is when you achieve your own expectations. Yeah. And young people ask me all the time, what is the definition of success to you? And to me, success is whatever you think success is not what others think what success is. And then I just tell them you have 2 C's in the middle of success. And so I use the first C as a challenge. I challenge myself to become the best that I can be. And the second C is making that choice to complete out what it is that you need to do. And so to you, if you feel that you're successful, you're successful. And if others don't think so, oh, well, too bad. Look at their lives. Are they successful at what they're doing? Or what are you doing? I mean, people come up to me all the time like, so what are you doing for the community? And I turn around and say, what you doing for the community?
Right. Well, and today's athletes, too, they have to deal with social media where people can hide behind some. They have no idea, but you're torn down constantly if you're on Twitter or whatever, and you have to learn to be able to handle that criticism, I guess, or either that or just stay off of it altogether.
Well, my suggestion to that would be to just stay off of it, because you're going to find somebody that's going to be critical. You can get 1,000 likes, and you can get one person to say something negative, and that one comment sticks a whole lot longer. In fact, it never lingers. I mean, it just sticks with you. And so if you want your ego stroked, look at social media. If you can't handle being criticized, talked about, don't look at it at all. Don't even look at what they have to say about you on television, because, a lot of the reporters, they don't really know you, so they got to think of something to talk about. They got to have that airtime. And so, like I said, I learned the game. So when Ron Higgins and Jarvis Greer and Stan Bell and different ones would do write-ups or say something good about me, I would show up at the track meet with a copy, and I would give it to the ones I knew was working on the air and say, hey, look what they said about me in the Memphis newspaper. Hey, look what they said about me. And that way, when the cameras was on me, they had something to talk about positive, because
you had to sell yourself. You had to basically sell yourself. But what would an 18, 19, 20-year-old Rochelle Stevens do if Twitter was around back then? And you're getting the criticism. It's different now. This is hindsight, and you teach the kids and you talk to the pros. What would you have done as a up-and-coming stud athlete? How would you have reacted on social media to negative stuff?
I would react like a normal person. I would fight back at it, and, I would not like it. So that's why I recommend that you basically just stay away from it.
Right.
Unless, it's just hard not to say anything, because if you keep taking it, then eventually you're just going to explode. Kind of like the coach from Pittsburgh Steelers the other night. He made, you think I really care about? See, you keep pushing and you keep pushing, you keep pushing. But see, you that's what coming in and learning how to play the game. You just, learn to revert with something positive versus something negative.
Do you think the athletes, we talk about this a lot, the millennials and things of that nature, and the athletes are much different. From a track and field standpoint and young athletes, is it a lot different, the sport?
Yes, it's a lot different. They're making a whole lot of money. Yes.
Aside from that.
No, I can't get past the money. But they say, show me the money. I mean, I looked at the World Championships, and it's on the Olympic Channel, and they had a light show. I mean, it was like a light show. They lit up the track, and your name came across the screen, and they had your images, and it was, they had fireworks. I was like, man, I wish we had that. I would have really been ready to run, because I'm caught up. I'm an emotional type runner, and it was like, whoa, if you don't know who I am, when I leave, you will know. But those type of things motivate me to perform. I don't know what they were thinking, but I was sitting there like, man, if we had that, oh my gosh, I would have made sure my weave was all the way down my back.
But do you think today's young athletes, and again, it's all different, but that they're willing to work as hard for the end result, or they want to be handed things? Not all athletes, but it seems like some do want the easy way to get to the ultimate goal.
I feel that a lot of them feel that they're privileged for whatever reason it is. Like I said, you have athletes in my sport that's barely running 10.2 seconds, 10.1 seconds, and now they're making $600,000. Whereas in my generation, I'm with Carl Lewis and Leroy Burrell and Dennis Mitchell and Linford Christie. Those athletes was running 9.8, 9.9. Those contracts, we just didn't get contracts like that. And so now you're basically getting paid off for the sweat and the tears from what we put in.
You guys paved the way.
We paved the way, and they're making the money. And I told one of my colleagues, I said, if we was injured in our day, we didn't never discuss that we was injured, because you didn't want anybody to know. You got out there and you stepped up to the plate, injured or not. This generation, you're going to know they're injured before they even get on the field.
Right.
Because if they
built-in excuse.
Exactly. If you don't perform, then they can say, oh, well, his back was hurting before. Whatever. Just step up to the plate and shut up.
Right. Yep. She's old school, like me. I love it. I love it. Hey, is the book still available?
This book is new.
It's new, so tell everybody how they can get the book. Okay. First of all, again, you look fabulous on the cover, like you do in real life.
Hey, this cover right here has my legs out. I figured I didn't want the typical athletic look with the warm-up suit. And I was told in this generation, sex sells. So that's why you get to see these $1 million legs on the cover of Travel the World by Foot. If you notice, I'm barefooted in all of that.
Yes, you are.
Somebody said, can I just take a picture of your toes? Okay. Whatever. Travel the World by Foot. This is my autobiography, and my favorite chapters in here is like talking about more than a competitor and an awesome dream. I'm challenging you to pursue your own dreams, to wake up and get those dreams. But that's what's in Travel the World by Foot. That's an autobiography.
Love it.
And my new release, which will be launching on tomorrow, the day after I get inducted into the Hall of Fame with the 22 people that we all going to soon get to meet. It's called Run Like Rochelle, and this is for pre-K through elementary, Run Like Rochelle. And I'm stressing healthy habits, discipline, and self-esteem. And it's color illustrated, and all of the pictures, of course, are of me, because, in the 80s, everything was like, name everything after yourself. I'm still like that. So Run Like Rochelle children book is only $10, and they can find this on my website, RochelleStevensFoundation.com, RochelleStevensFoundation.com, or meet me at Barnes & Noble on Saturday in Collierville. Bring all your childrens out and take pictures with me, get your autograph, and purchase a book. That'll be
What time?
2 to 5 p.m. 2 to 5 p.m. in Collierville at the Barnes & Noble. And so I'm just so excited.
How about that? I had no idea about the books. This is fantastic.
Yeah, Run Like Rochelle, Greg.
I can't. I just can't run like you.
I said run like me. I didn't say run after me.
That I could try to do. Congratulations, Rochelle.
Thank you so much.
You're the best. And again, Rochelle will be going in to the Hall of Fame tomorrow. The bicentennial class, it's the inaugural class of the Memphis Sports Experience and Hall of Fame. It's going to be a great, great evening. It's always great catching up with the one and only Dr. Rochelle Stevens. We will take a break. When we come back, it's Dinner and a Movie. You can jump on the phone lines right now at 360-8255. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Put the Case IH legacy of power and efficiency to work in your hay fields and feedlot. Mid-South Ag Equipment has tough Case IH farm-all tractors that can handle a variety of chores fast. With their expert blend of engine and hydraulic power, farm-all tractors can easily tackle loading and material handling chores as well as mowing and baling. Models range from 65 to 90 horsepower, so you're sure to find one that's perfectly powered for the jobs you do. Stop in or call 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag Equipment, your Case IH headquarters.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, not for sale to minors. Website restricted to adults 21 and over.
Let's be real. Most smokers aren't looking for some overcomplicated vaping machine. That's why we created My Blue. My Blue is simple. Our pre-filled liquid pods mean there's no mess. One charge and My Blue lasts all day. And with our range of flavors and nicotine options, you have a choice. My Blue answers on what matters for smokers. Real nicotine satisfaction. And right now, try My Blue for $1 at select retailers or myblue.com.
Hi, folks. Good news for bargain hunters and bandits from the Chevy Sheriff in Collierville. Sunrise Chevy has over 500 Chevys and used cars in stock just in time for the Sunrise Low Price Rodeo. Factory rebates up to $5,000, Sunrise discounts high as $8,000, and don't forget, Sunrise specializes in secondary financing. Need a good body shop? Bring it to Sunrise. We work on all makes and models. Remember, you can bring your Chevy to Sunrise for service no matter where you bought. Buy American and buy from Sunrise. There's always a sale at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. Find new roads to 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville. Chevys cost less at Sunrise, partner.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Benswinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Benswinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Benswinger Glass in Midtown, located at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Benswinger Glass.
Hewlett & Dunn, nestled on Old Town Square in Collierville, has 4,000 square feet of the largest boot selection in 200 miles. International boot legends Luke Casey, Double H, Red Wing, Ariat, Justin, and Tony Lama. Hewlett & Dunn has rubber hunting boots by Dry Shod, and recently has expanded the selection of safety work boots. Filson Hunting Gear, biggest selection in 3 states, and now carrying Duckhead. Western wear, hunting attire, jeans, belts, hats, and more at 111 North Center Street, Collierville on Old Town Square. You need to stop by Hewlett & Dunn, you bet your boots.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back here in the Family Leisure Studios. Right now, their factory direct pool table and spa sale going on. You can get free installation on all in-stock pool tables, free playing package, free choice of felt. Pool tables starting as low as $12.99. Additional discounts also on all their in-stock spas. Plenty of those ready to in stock, ready to be shipped. Swim spas starting at $99.99. And you can also save money on spa accessories. It's at Family Leisure, 2120 Winton Road, just north of I-40. Time now for Dinner and a Movie.
I was hired to teach the boys a game of basketball, and I did that to the best of my ability. I apologize for nothing.
I think it'd be a big mistake to let Coach Dale go.
Forget about the crowd.
Give him a chance.
The size of the school.
I play Coach Day's.
Their fancy uniform.
He goes, I go.
And remember what got you.
All those in favor of the coach staying, say aye.
Aye. Focus on the fundamentals.
Those opposed?
We've gone over time and time again.
Coach stays.
And most important, don't get caught up thinking about winning or losing your skills. If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners. All right! Let's go! Let's go! Let me hear it!
It is Dinner and a Movie. It's your opportunity to win a couple of Malco movie passes along with a $25 gift certificate to Sweetgrass. I'm looking forward to getting over to Sweetgrass. They've made some changes over there. They knocked the wall out between Sweetgrass and Sweetgrass next door. So I'm looking forward to go seeing the changes over at Sweetgrass there at Cooper Young. Fantastic food, fantastic place, and now they've opened it up both sides, so really looking forward to checking that out. Of course, the Malco movie passes. You can head to Malco theaters around the area. Among the movies out showing right now include The Joker, Abominable, Downton Abbey, Hustlers, It Chapter 2, Rambo Last Blood. Opening up this week, you've got The Addams Family, Gemini Man, Jexy also opening up this weekend. So you can check those out at the Bartlett Cinema. A couple of last chance opportunities to see Angry Birds 2, The Art of Racing in the Rain, and Dora and the Lost City of Gold. Those are all showing at the Bartlett Cinema. Your last opportunities to see them. Of course, you can always download the Malco app on your phone or just go to malco.com to find all the different showtimes. Don't forget, Studio on the Square Thursday nights. They got the Throwback Thursdays. You can still take advantage of that as well. That's at Studio on the Square. And they've got the complete schedule on the website at malco.com. So here is today's question at 360-8255, 360-8255 for a chance to win the 2 movie passes as well as the $25 gift certificate to Sweetgrass. Gemini Man stars Will Smith. You can check that out, by the way, in the IMAX as well with the Paradiso. Will Smith has been nominated twice for Best Actor Academy Awards, but never won. However, he has won a Golden Raspberry for the Worst Supporting Actor. For what movie did he win his Golden Raspberry for Worst Supporting Actor?
Hey, why all the negativity with Will Smith? Come on now. All right, so that's supporting actor.
Worst supporting actor.
Okay. Got it, folks? We got one open line at 360-8255. We have 2 as somebody has dropped off, but Gary's hanging in there. Gary, how are you?
Yeah, I'm just going to guess Bad Boys.
That is incorrect.
All right.
That is incorrect.
That was a Will Smith movie, though, which is nice. Because if you guessed a Will Smith movie, you have a chance.
With the Golden Raspberries, you do have to be in the movie to win the award. It's much like the Academy Awards. You have to be in the movie.
360-8255. They're dropping like flies, but more people are jumping in now. They think they know the answer, so we'll get to those calls here in just a second. As soon as Austin can answer them.
Bad Boys. I'm trying to find Bad Boys.
Bad Boys,
1995.
Next up is it Alton?
Yes.
Hey, Alton, how are you? What's your guess?
My guess is After Earth.
After Earth, 2013 movie, did $60 million at the box office, and that is the correct answer.
Nice job, Alton.
He was the worst supporting actor that year, according to the Golden Raspberries. Congratulations, Alton. You are a winner. You got some Malco movie passes. You also have $25 to Sweetgrass coming your way.
We'll put you on hold, and Mr. Eldridge will get your information. What was it again?
After Earth.
After Earth. How many movies has Will Smith been in? Do you have a number by any chance?
Did you guys see After Earth, by the way?
I did not.
Have you?
I did. It is not his best movie.
Obviously.
Do you believe he should have won the award for Worst Supporting Actor?
I don't know that it was necessarily his acting job because I thought his son was actually worse than him, but it was just so over dramatic and not that well done.
Oh, you're saying that just the movie was
The movie was just not that well made in general, yeah.
26 movies that he has done.
26, including some of the animated ones that he's voiced over?
Yeah, he hasn't done a...
That's not as many as I thought. I thought he'd be like at 40, 45.
They have made a combined $3.5 billion.
Not too shabby.
Not too bad at all.
We need you to jump on the phone lines right now at 360-8255 if you'd like to ask Sigmund Bloom a question about your fantasy football team. You can also text in on the First Bank text line at 67129 or message us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. You can hit me up at Greg_Gaston, at Eli Savoie as well, at Eli560, and give us your questions. But Sigmund Bloom, he's coming up next. He'll have all the answers. Hour 3 on the way, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Stop. Pick up your golf clubs. Head to my favorite place, Vantage Point Golf Center, 9580 Macon Road in Cordova. Open 7 days a week. Vantage Point Golf Center. They got it all. Top Tracer powered by Top Golf. Track your shots like the pros. You know exactly where you hit the ball. Have a beer, eat a sandwich, and relax. Over 50 grass spots. And fully lit for nighttime. There are 18 holes of mini golf. It's fun for the whole family. Visit Vantage Point Golf Center. They've got it all. 1 mile west of Houston Levee.
AC trouble? Make your first call your last call. Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60, and 24-hour emergency service is billed at normal rates. Your comfort is their highest priority. Contact airdoctorsofmemphis.com or call 901-598-HVAC.
And this corner is Bob, the Beast of Bar Graphs, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day. Medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. It's an exciting time to be a Memphis Tiger fan, and we at Five Ash Roofing have decided to share our excitement. We are proud members of the Tigers home team, which means we sponsor the Tigers athletic department, and we're also season ticket holders to both the football and basketball programs. We will be giving away 2 and sometimes 4 tickets to most of the games this coming year. To have a chance at winning the tickets, find our Facebook page, like, and share our post. The more you share, the more chances you have to win. We also want to give away some tickets to those who wouldn't otherwise get a chance to go. So, you can go to memphisroofer.com or 5ash.com and send us a note why you or someone you know should get the tickets. And as always, 5Ash Roofing is fair, honest, and ethical. We're experts in all forms of roofing for both residential and commercial buildings. 5Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
The people have spoken.
About what?
What do you think?
Well, you're here, so it must be Central Barbecue.
Central Barbecue, the Memphis Most Awards from the Commercial Appeal.
Let me guess. Best barbecue?
Best barbecue sandwich, best ribs.
Impressive.
But wait, there's more. The Memphis Flyer Best of Awards.
Best barbecue?
Best barbecue, best ribs.
This all seems very familiar.
That's because it happens every year. Central Barbecue is always Memphis' favorite in all things barbecue.
I meant this copy seems familiar.
Oh, it's pretty much the same spot from last year.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for Football Grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
125 seasons of Ole Miss football.
By Deuce, he may go.
Under
Dexter
center.
breaks the tackle.
Mike Wallace between 2 defenders. The tradition continues.
He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Breaks a tackle. He's gone down the sideline. Touchdown, Ole Miss. He is a beast.
Saturday, Ole Miss takes on Missouri. Pre-game coverage starts at 4 p.m. with kickoff at 6 on your home for the Rebels.
Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:04 is the time. Final hour for us today here on Sports 56 Middays. The one and only Sigmund Bloom joins us in just a moment, so you can jump on the phone lines right now. First Bank phone lines are open at 360-8255. You can text in questions for Sig at 67129. That's the First Bank text line. Or message us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Austin Eldridge. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Of course, Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Make the most out of your e-commerce experience by finding insights and inspiration from other small business owners. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. It's time for Sigmund Bloom.
Time to get all your fantasy football questions answered. Joining Greg and Eli is fantasy football expert Sigmund Bloom of FootballGuys.com. Get your questions in by calling 360-8255 or texting 67129. Here are Greg, Eli, and Sigmund.
He is Sigmund Bloom, FootballGuys.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Sigmund Bloom. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Welcome, Sigmund. How are you?
Good. It feels like things are calming down a little bit. I'm still not sure if the Cowboys are any good or not. Sorry, Eli, but otherwise things are coming into focus.
I'm pretty sure they're not.
Is that a little dig at Eli right off the bat there, Sig?
Well, hey, I'm a Steelers fan, so misery loves company.
Here's what I do know. I would guess you will not recommend anybody for the New York Giants who will actually be playing tomorrow night because there are very few of them.
Yeah, and maybe Golden Tate if you're desperate, getting a lot of short receptions in a PPR league. But this is not going to be the game for us to evaluate Daniel Jones. Certainly not against what looks like an historic Patriots defense. Hopefully you have the Patriots defense.
Yeah, that was going to say, because they have now, I get Barkley, Shepard, Ingram, Gallman, all officially ruled out for the Giants. So good luck, Daniel Jones, against the Patriots. Sounds like a lot of fun. Speaking of defenses, I'm looking for a defense this week. I've narrowed it down to, would you rather have the Tennessee defense against Denver or the Denver defense against Tennessee?
Right. I think that probably because Denver's defense came alive against the Chargers, because we're seeing Marcus Mariota as a limited quarterback, I would go ahead and go with Denver at home. I think they're playing to keep Coach Fangio's job.
If you got questions for Sigmund Bloom, you can get them in. 67129 is the First Bank text line. You can talk to him directly at 360-8255, 360-8255. In my never-ending quest to try and find a tight end,
right?
What's the staying power of Gerald Everett?
I think he's got some great staying power. Actually, even with Tyler Higbee healthy, his snap count was going up. And then we saw him winning those one-on-one matchups. I'm not sure if Brandon Cooks will be able to get out of concussion protocol or not, but I don't see how they can put Everett back in the bottle now. You remember he was part of that UAB program and then South Alabama, and he was drafted as a receiving tight end in the second round. Now we're finally seeing that come to fruition. And the Rams' defense is not very good either, so that's getting them in high-scoring games.
The Ben Watson try did not work out very well.
Right.
The Patriots just let him go. All right, got some questions coming in here. Two very similar ones via Facebook. John asked, Gordon or Henry?
Melvin Gordon isn't really, if that's Melvin Gordon,
yeah.
I'm assuming it is. He hasn't really got quite up to speed yet. Tough Steelers defense. So, Derrick Henry, we know they're calling his number at the goal line every time. I'd go with Derrick Henry.
And then somebody else asked via text here, Gordon, Henry, or Mark Ingram?
Oh, Mark Ingram against Cincinnati looks like a terrific play this week. I would expect to see Ingram have one of his best days of the year. Cincinnati, we saw both Chase Edmonds and David Johnson had good games against them last week.
Somebody else looking for a defense asked Titans or 49ers?
That 49ers defense is red hot right now. The Rams' offensive line has been a little suspect, so I'm sticking with the 49ers.
Joe Mixon or Chris Thompson?
Mixon, the Washington-Miami game, you might be more interested in it because these teams have finally met their match, but I still would rather, if I pick a running back from that game, it would probably be Adrian Peterson, so I'd stick with Mixon.
Washington-Miami is a game that only a fantasy football player could love.
or a draft analyst, because it may well decide the number one pick.
Yeah, the loser of this one really has that inside track at the number one pick. There's no doubt about that. Somebody else texted in here. Bye weeks and injuries. I need to start two of these non-PPR. Delaney Walker, Carlos Hyde, Gerald Everett, or a flex suggestion from waivers.
I think Hyde should be a solid play this week. We saw against Kansas City, Indianapolis fed Marlon Mack, and that was a good plan. So Houston should feed Carlos Hyde. and then I would go with Everett. Delaney Walker has a pretty good matchup against Denver, but he hasn't done much for us the last 2 weeks. So I would go with Everett over him.
Yeah, Delaney Walker's been a little bit of a disappointment. He just can't. He doesn't seem to get going.
Yeah, and then have 1 week it's A.J. Brown, 1 week it's Corey Davis. Some weeks it's nobody when the Tennessee offense meets their match. So I just don't want to rely on anybody outside of Derrick Henry in that offense right now.
Non-PPR league with big play bonus points. Should I start Will Fuller or Terry McLaurin ahead of Eckler, Edelman, Lockett, or Tyler Boyd?
I can't put, Boyd has a good matchup. I can't put Lockett on the bench. I still think that Eckler is going to remain a big part. He had 2 almost touchdowns last week in a non-PPR league. That's important. Will Fuller is really hard to put on the bench right now. I might go with Fuller over Eckler at this point. If we see more Melvin Gordon, that takes some of the edge off of Eckler. And then also Fuller faces that Kansas City secondary this week. So I would say Fuller would get in over Eckler.
But you would keep Edelman in there?
Edelman should be fantastic tonight. Philip Dorsett tomorrow night. Philip Dorsett is out, so I would expect him to continue to get the lion's share of targets in that passing game.
All right, let's go to the First Bank phone lines, 360-8255. And Bobby's first up. Hi, Bobby. You're on with Sigmund Blue. Oh, guess he's not. I do have a text question for you, but again, you can jump on the phone lines or text in at 67129. Leonard Fournette or Damian Williams, and what does the Chiefs' running back situation look like right now?
It's a good question, and I think it could be in something that is in motion. But Damian Williams should remain the top passing down back. That being said, I'm not playing him over Leonard Fournette now. Fournette's playing well. He's getting all the work. The Jacksonville offense is good with Gardner Minshew. Fournette is one of those players that I'm not putting on the bench.
Yeah, Fournette has been really, really good. Well, I think he's not getting a bunch of touchdowns, but man, he's racking up the yards. That's for sure.
Yeah, and the touchdowns will come eventually.
Defense for this week: Green Bay, Carolina, Denver, or Washington against Miami.
Yeah, Washington's an interesting one because of the better defense of those two defenses, but it's got to be Carolina. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be missing the right side of their offensive line, and Jameis Winston already has shown us he can be a very generous quarterback with turnovers. Carolina scored a defensive touchdown last week, so I'm going with Carolina.
All right, I think we got Bobby back on the phone lines. Hey, Bobby, how are you?
Hey, man, thanks, guys.
Sure.
Two-part question, as usual. Loaded at wide receiver in a PPR. I got Julio, Devontae Adams, and
forgot the other one, huh?
Julio, Devontae Adams, Chark, and Sutton.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really weak at running back. Should I try? First part of the question: should I try to trade one of those guys for a running back? Second part of the question: if I keep them, Adams and Jones are always rated the highest, but ranked the highest for the week, but they don't always score the most points. How do you decide who to play when you got 4 quality receivers, or should I trade one for a running back?
All right. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate it. And Adams has been hurt, hasn't he, Sig?
Right. So I think that if you could get something close to the market value for Adams, because he has that toe injury, and even when he comes back, I'm not sure that he's going to be the same. And Green Bay has been more of a balanced team. So Adams would be the one I would look to trade, or even Julio. Look, I'm fine with DJ Chark in my lineup every week. I'm fine with Cortland Sutton in my lineup every week. And I think that Emmanuel Sanders could be traded by the end of this month, which would give Sutton even more targets. So I would try to trade one of those name value guys in Julio Jones or Devontae Adams, but getting a running back, a top 10 type running back that you can play every week.
All right, 360-8255 if you'd like to talk to Sigmund Bloom from footballguys.com. First Bank phone lines are open. First Bank text line 67129 or message us at Sports56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Another text question. Sanders, Hyde, or Breida for running back in a PPR? And Diggs...
It's got to be Breida.
Breida, okay. And Diggs, McLaurin, Marvin Jones, Sanu, and Devontae Adams, pick 2 in a PPR.
I like Diggs. I think that Philadelphia secondary is very vulnerable. I expect him to have a big bounce-back game here. And I like Marvin Jones. I would expect that Jair Alexander, the top corner, will be on Kenny Golladay. Marvin Jones, that veteran. And I would expect him to have a solid game coming off the bye. And what looks like a really excellent Monday night matchup.
Well, speaking of Marvin Jones, another one here via text, so the First Bank text line. PPR League, should I start Marvin Jones or DK Metcalf? I have Brandon Cooks, but not sure he's going to play.
I'd go with Jones. Metcalf might eat you that long touchdown, but he's sharing time right now with David Moore and Jerron Brown. So it's more of a boom-bust play. Marvin Jones is an every-down player, very good players, playing at best football of the year going into the bye at a tremendous game against Kansas City.
Please rank McCole Hardman, LaShawn McCoy, Terry McLaurin, and then who's better, Gerald Everett, Vance McDonald, or TJ Hawkinson?
It's Everett still. Hawkinson's still in concussion protocol, so I'm not sure we're going to see him Monday night. The good news is he is practicing. I would say that for this week, I would still stick with Hardman. The Houston secondary is not good. Sammy Watkins didn't practice today. I don't think we're going to see him. I'm not sure if we're going to see Tyreek Hill, but we know there's going to be a lot of attention on Tyreek Hill, so I would stick with Hardman. McLaurin is an enticing matchup in some ways against Miami, but they do have Xavier Howard, who's a shutdown corner. So I would say McLaurin is probably certainly second to Hardman. He was the third name. Again, I know it's not going to be over Hardman, though.
It was Hardman, LaShawn McCoy, Terry McLaurin.
McCoy. And with McCoy, he looks like the best running back, as in between the tackles running game, but I don't know if the Chiefs see it that way. So until they get that straightened out, I'm going to keep him on my bench.
Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson?
Just probably Lamar Jackson, because Cincinnati's defense is so bad, but I could easily see a scenario where Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson light it up and turn that game into a track meet. So I won't tell anybody to bench Watson, but I would play Jackson.
Better streaming defense for this week out of Washington, Philadelphia, Carolina.
Carolina. Again, when you have Jameis Winston, you always have the chance for 3 or 4 interceptions, a couple of pick sixes. When he's missing half of his offensive line, now you have a chance for 8 or 10 sacks, too.
49ers or Vikings defense?
49ers, again, because they're hot. And also, the Vikings are facing a Philadelphia offense that they found their running game with Jordan Howard. Carson Wentz, I thought, played an excellent game against Green Bay. Carson, didn't really have much of a test against the Jets, so I would go with San Francisco.
Raider Corey texts in. He asked, will Ingram play? And we said, no, they have ruled him out. Says his backup is Waller, and he's on a bye. Who should he target as a possible tight end?
Well, we could have said Chris Herndon. He's coming back from his suspension, but he has a hamstring injury. So I would say, depending on how deep you have to dig on the waiver wire, maybe one of those Texans tight ends, Jordan Akins or Darren Fells, and hope for a high-scoring game there. Maybe in a PPR league, Rhett Ellison is going to replace Ingram, and he might catch 4, 5, 6 passes from Daniel Jones tomorrow night, because I'm not sure who else he's going to throw the ball to.
I can't wait to see the starting lineup for that Giants offense tomorrow night. It's just going to be fun to see that. Philip Lindsay or Eckler in a PPR league?
I'm not putting Lindsay on the bench right now. Again, with Eckler, we're not sure how much Melvin Gordon's going to eat into his workload.
Pick 3 PPR, Kupp, Julio, OBJ, Gallup, and Hollywood Brown.
Wow, some good receivers.
Yeah, it is. And I think the first 3, Kupp has to be in. He's that number 1 target. Julio against Arizona with no Patrick Peterson, he has to be in there. And Beckham, you can see at least that they're making an effort to give him the ball and give him opportunities to get going. And Seattle's defense hasn't been the best. I'm not sure about Hollywood Brown, whether he's going to play. If he was going to play, he would be exciting. But I just, that Beckham is going to still get his, he had that 89-yard touchdown, I think, a few weeks back, and you would hate to see that on your bench.
Going back quickly to the tight end, what's the latest with Hunter Henry?
1 or 2 weeks away, maybe. I think that they're going to get him back ahead of that 8-week timeline that would make it look like they should have put him on IR. So this is, if you don't have a tight end, he's not going to help you this week, but this is probably about the time to pick him up before next week or maybe the week after we hear that he's ready to go.
Calvin Ridley or Matt Breida at flex at a full point PPR?
Ridley had that nice touchdown last week, and they're facing Arizona. So I'm going to have to go with Ridley, even though Breida looked so good. Breida's going to split with Tevin Coleman, which adds a little bit of risk there if he doesn't get going. I'm not going to tell anybody, I'm not going to talk you out of benching Matt Breida, but if I had to make that choice, I would pick Calvin Ridley.
The Falcons too, like you, and this is why I Julio, I would think at some point. I mean, their defense is so bad; they got every game they need to be throwing the ball to try and catch up. It seems like.
Yeah, and then they're facing some good defenses that are keeping Matt Ryan out of his comfort zone. So that's why you're seeing more Austin Hooper, more Mohamed Sanu. This week against Arizona, though, I think that you're going to see Ryan back in his comfort zone, which is looking downfield to Julio.
Tell everybody about footballguys.com.
Yeah, we're obsessed with fantasy football, every kind of fantasy football, DFS, IDP, dynasty leagues. We cover it all. And I do 8 podcasts a week. We've got a free news wire. We've got a free newsletter you can sign up for. Or if you want that extra oomph, we can get you over the top with our Lineup Dominator app, or you can subscribe.
8 podcasts per week. Man, oh man. That is one busy man, but he carves out this time each and every week to come on with us. Again, the best in the biz. Sigmund Bloom, footballguys.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Sigmund Bloom. Sig, have a great weekend, great week. We'll talk to you next week.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
That is Sigmund Bloom from footballguys.com. This hour of the show, as we told you yesterday when we had the owner Ryan Thomas on, this is now brought to you by 34 North Cocktails. And we got to drink alcohol on the air yesterday. There was a lot of fun. There was a lot of alcohol consumed in the Flynn Broadcasting offices yesterday. I think everybody here had alcohol just about.
Well, I had my share, but I made sure it wasn't too much because I had to get in the car and drive. But I gave it to Drew Barrett. I can't tell you how it worked out for Drew the rest of the day.
It was and everybody here was raving. They are the 2 different cocktails that we had here on the show yesterday, both from 34 North Cocktails, which these are 12-ounce canned beverages, just like you would get a bartender make you, but they come very conveniently already made for you. There's the Barrel Thief, which tastes like an old-fashioned. It's aged bourbon, bitters, hint of orange, touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then you've got the Sneaky Pucker, which is a vodka drink. Basically, it tastes like lemonade. It is very refreshing. It's 12.5% ABV. That's super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Very good. And man, I'll tell you what, I said yesterday, that on a hot day outside. Whew, absolutely fantastic. These are great for tailgate parties, obviously, because you got them pre-made. You can find them at liquor stores all over the area. Just check them out. 34 North Cocktails. Again, there's 2 of them, the Barrel Thief and the Sneaky Pucker. You can buy a 4-pack of them, and they're for $15.99. Fantastic stuff. Give it a try. And Ryan said, try it over ice. It's even could even be a little bit better over ice, maybe. You may enjoy that even more. So give that a try as well, or you can just drink it straight out of the can cold. They are delicious. 34 North Cocktails.
According to the CA, Shelby County resident Brittany Taylor dropped her federal civil suit against former New England Patriots and Raiders wide receiver Antonio Brown. According to court documents, the Memphis native is refiling the suit in the state court in Florida where the alleged assaults took place between 2017 and 2018. So it's not going away, but it is in Tennessee, moved to Florida. We will take a break. When we come back, we're going to shift gears, talk some Tennessee Vols football with our friend Blake Topmeyer. What is the latest as they get set to take on Mississippi State? And by the way, I'm sticking with my preseason prediction. I think Tennessee will win this football game. What did they learn with their new quarterback, and how long will he be their new quarterback, Brian Maurer? And when it came down to it with Jeremy Banks, that second video, did Tennessee already have this video, and when it became public, is that when they decided to kick him off the team? We'll talk to Blake about all things Tennessee Vols. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Amazing. It's kind of like being showered with cash from above, which would also be pretty amazing. It's so amazing that millions of people a year are getting their cash back matched. They just can't get enough. So whether it's raining down on your head or raining into your bank account, it's your cash back, and Discover is matching it. Discover Cashback Match. What are you waiting for? Learn more at discover.com/match.
Hi, this is Greg Gaston from Sports 56, and I want to tell you about Donnie Morrow and the Morrow Group at RE/MAX On Point Guarantee. They'll sell your home within 65 days or they will work for free. Donnie Morrow and his team have sold over 500 homes during the past 3 years, and over 200 homes sold last year alone. Call 901-359-9698 or go online at MidSouthHomefinder.com. List with Donnie Morrow and sell tomorrow. Realistically, these things can happen. Restrictions apply. See Realtor for terms and conditions. Free guarantee applies. A listing agent's commission. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hi, folks. Rob Walker, Infinity of Memphis, and we've got a new Infinity crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like two engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infinity has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And the new QX50 offers more horsepower than its Audi, Lexus, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
Infinity of Memphis, and online at infinityofmemphis.com.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, not for sale to minors. Website restricted to adults 21 and over.
Let's be real. Most smokers aren't looking for some overcomplicated vaping machine. That's why we created MyBlue. MyBlue is simple. Our pre-filled liquid pods mean there's no mess. One charge and MyBlue lasts all day. And with our range of flavors and nicotine options, you have a choice. MyBlue answers on what matters for smokers. Real nicotine satisfaction. And right now, try MyBlue for $1 at select retailers or myblue.com.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for Football Grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Sundays and Mondays are special at the Butcher Shop, celebrating over 35 years of serving the Mid-South by giving a big thank you to you, their loyal customers. You can come in, relax, watch your favorite games, and enjoy hand-cut steaks along with a premium bar. Sunday and Monday nights from 5 until 8:30, you can get select entrees for $25. That includes a salad, baked potato, and bread, and you don't have to pick one, you get all three. Some of those entrees are 10-ounce New York strip steak, slow roasted prime rib, Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, marinated grilled chicken breast, grilled boneless pork chops, and crab stuffed shrimp. Plus, all appetizers and desserts are 20% off. Don't forget, Hamburger Friday every Friday from 11 to 2. It's the best. The Butcher Shop, always a Memphis tradition. Call 901-757-4244, 901-757-4244 for more information, or just stop in at 107 South Germantown Parkway in Cordova.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:29 the time. Final half hour for us today on this Hump Day edition of Sports 56 Middays. Chris Claybrooks, the news is good. He will make his debut with the Memphis Tigers this Saturday against Temple, as he's been given the green light medically. Hasn't been able to play, but boy, he was one of the stories in camp. A terrific defensive back, so that will help with that secondary. Chris Claybrooks will go this week, and still nothing on Patrick Taylor on whether or not he will be able to play against the Temple Owls. And before we bring our friend Blake Topmeyer on, Richard Sherman was on a radio show today, and he's apologized, or said he will apologize in person the next time he sees Baker Mayfield, but he says it's definitely my bad. I do want to apologize over the handshake controversy, because yesterday we were talking about that story. In fact, it was one of the questions you asked me about Sherman saying he was not given the handshake from Baker Mayfield. And then the video surfaced, and it was very apparent that they shook hands. So Richard Sherman either has a bad short-term memory or wanted to start a little controversy.
It's his quotes today are like so strange. I don't really understand. He said sometimes you remember things a little differently than it happened. Obviously, it still motivated me the same way. But you were motivated by him not shaking your hand, although he did.
I don't know. Sherman's a weird dude. The guy went to Stanford. I mean, he's a pretty smart guy, so I think he tried to stir the pot up a little bit. Anyhow, the Tennessee Volunteers got Mississippi State this Saturday. They're coming off a game against Georgia in which the first half they looked very competitive. They were very competitive, and then they were beaten down in the second half by a very, very good Georgia team. But was that first half, though, a sign of maybe positive things to come? We are pleased once again to be joined by our friend Blake Topmeyer, Tennessee football beat writer for the Knoxville News Sentinel and USA Today Network. You can follow him on Twitter at @BTopmeyer. He joins us now on Middays. Hey, Blake, how are you?
I'm doing well, guys, and I think you hit on it there. What was that first half really a sign of things to come, or was it the kind of a flash in the pan that we sometimes see from bad teams?
Yeah, maybe and I'll get to this in a second, because I certainly want to talk about the young quarterback in Maurer who got his chance. Maybe it was the motivation of having a different quarterback in there, and they just rallied around him. But before we dive into that and talk Tennessee and Mississippi State and things on the Hill, the negative thing that happened from last week before the game, the Friday before the game, as you know, was the dismissal of Jeremy Banks. And I wanted to ask you this, Blake, because I've been pondering this since it happened. Did the university, did Jeremy Pruitt, did the officials with the football program and the athletic department know of that second video before he was released on Friday? Did they know that and before it was released to the public by TMZ, or did they have no idea about that?
That's a good question. Here's what I think. I think Jeremy Pruitt had not seen that video until Friday. Now, you note I said had not seen the video. I did not say Pruitt did not know anything about the situation with Jeremy Banks and that woman, because I don't know that I would go as far as to say that. But I do not believe Jeremy Pruitt had seen that video of that particular incident with Banks and that woman until Friday. It's a classic situation where a guy is dismissed as the media is closing in on a story, and the news is about to break. I mean, I think Jeremy Pruitt and Tennessee officials knew full well that second TMZ story was about to break on Friday, and so they tried to scramble and get in front of it by dismissing Banks. But it really was a mess of a week, because the hit that Pruitt took on his handling of the initial incident with Banks's conduct in the back of the police car from his September arrest, and then even some people being upset with how Jeremy Pruitt talked to the officer on the phone that night. I mean, that was a pretty significant hit, I think, that he took off that, and then kind of waded through the storm for a couple days. It was getting to the point where it was water under the bridge. And then, you had part two of that come out, and I think at that point it was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for Jeremy Pruitt in regard to Jeremy Banks, and felt like he had to dismiss him from the program.
At this point, Jeremy Pruitt can just use some positive stuff. I mean, it just seems like it's one thing after another that has gone wrong throughout this season, whether it's players off the field or the play on the field.
No question, and certainly this stuff, this type of off the field stuff, gets magnified during a bad season.
Mm-hmm.
When you're losing games and you have off the field incidents, that's really that can really pile up on a coach. Not to say that you want to have off the field incidents at any time, but if you're if you're fortunate enough to coach a winning team, sometimes that stuff doesn't dominate the headlines as much. And, it was a quiet week, thankfully, for Tennessee on the player discipline side for a week, so that's good. And you just hope that, this is about the last incident that he has to deal with this season because it certainly is piling on. And, really, I go back to that handling of the Banks situation with people were just really, I heard from so many fans, even fans that had or still are in the Pruitt camp, that were just really, really frustrated that there was no discipline doled out toward Banks initially for his conduct in the back of the police vehicle. I mean, let's face it, the arrest, the offense itself, that was pretty minor stuff.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's not it's not major stuff that ends up in multiple game suspensions. But then when people saw the video, I think it really just rubbed a lot of people that I heard from the wrong way, that there was no initial game suspension for his conduct there.
There's the old cliche that nobody is into moral victories, but after the first half performance against Georgia, when the Vols were extremely competitive, and for Vols fans, I'm sure it was a lot of fun. Obviously, they weren't able to keep it up in the second half against a very good Georgia team, but do you come out of that going, okay, that was a bright sign, and let's see what we can do moving forward?
Yeah, I think you have to feel at least a little bit better about this team coming out of Saturday. In a season like this, you're looking for anything like that to grab hold of. I mean, Brian Maurer's play was good for a half. I still thought there was a lot of concerns defensively, but you are playing against a really polished team in Georgia. And I actually thought the secondary was better. And I know that's weird to say because Fromm was 24 out of 29 passing, but I actually thought Tennessee's coverage was decent. They just got zero pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many times they had guys covered pretty well, but Fromm had like 5-6 seconds in the pocket. You give a quarterback of that caliber that much time, he's eventually going to find an open guy. And that's what happened a lot on Saturday. The defense still has to find ways to generate more pass rush. I still have concerns, about what's going on there with the offensive line. Not a lot of production in the run game the last 2 weeks. But certainly the schedule lightens up from here, too. And so I think you can feel good about that as well and think, okay, if they can bottle up what they showed for about, 25 to 28 minutes in the first half on Saturday, then if they can duplicate that performance, I think they are good enough to beat a handful of teams left on their schedule.
So is Maurer secure in the job now? What will we see at the quarterback position going forward, you think?
I think Maurer's secure to start this week. I don't think we've seen the last of Jarrett Garantano just simply because injury situations. I mean, Maurer's going to take some hits. Let's face it. He got destroyed on a hit in the fourth quarter. I mean, we've seen how many hits Garantano's taken the last couple seasons. Maurer's going to take some hits. And so I don't think we've seen the last of Garantano. I think we'll see him sometimes in reserve, whether it be because a punishing hit knocks Maurer out of the game, whether it be because the freshman just struggles in a particular game and they want to turn to Jarrett, or maybe this thing goes south and they have to hand it back off to Garantano at the end of the season, perhaps. But I think Maurer is going to get every opportunity in these next few games to show that he can be the guy, because I think they feel like they gave Garantano opportunity after opportunity, and then it just eventually got to the point where they had to move on, and I don't think there's much moving back from that. But I do think there's a difference between not going back to him as a starter and still incorporating him if and when needed. So I don't want to say we're going to see a two-quarterback system. I think Maurer's the guy unless he shows that he can't be the guy. But I do think we haven't seen the last of Jarrett with this team.
I texted you a couple of days ago when I was asking you about coming on the show, and I told you that I believe Tennessee will beat Mississippi State. I predicted it in the preseason. I'm sticking to it. Am I certified?
You're not certified, no. But I mean, I actually think the Vegas line on this is kind of spot on. I think the last time I saw it was at like 6.5 points, and that feels about right. It feels to me that Mississippi State's probably about one touchdown better than Tennessee. So no, you're not certifiable for thinking Tennessee can win. Yeah, the fly in the ointment for Mississippi State is like, what's the deal with these suspended players? It's like you never know from week to week how many guys are going to be out because they have this ongoing thing with suspension players for this academic situation. But it's not like, just a lump suspension where guys are out for 3 games in a row. They're picking and choosing what games they're sitting. So it's kind of hard to figure, like, is this going to be Mississippi State at its best or not? I tend to think that most of their guys are going to be out there on Saturday because I think they see this as a must-win game. But yeah, overall, I think Mississippi State's probably a little bit better, but not much.
Are you confident enough to go live on a roof until they get their next win?
No, I'm not going to go live on a roof like a Knoxville radio host is here.
Oh, I haven't heard the story. I haven't heard the story. What's going on?
And I was at and I was directing that at Greg. That's why you're certifiable if you're so confident in beating Mississippi State that you're going to go live on a rooftop.
No, I won't go that far. But that's
if they
what's
don't
happening.
beat Mississippi State, they certainly aren't winning the next week. So you're guaranteed of being up there for at least 2 more weeks.
So there's actually a talk show host or some radio jock in Knoxville that's doing this.
Yes.
Yeah, and so maybe you can get the movement going in Memphis. But So what the deal is, in 1988, there was a Nashville radio host that lived on a that lived on a billboard for weeks. Right. Of course, Tennessee started that season 0-5, and I think it was after they went 0-3. Knoxville or Nashville radio host lived on the billboard for a few weeks until they won a game, and so with Tennessee's struggles this year, there's a Knoxville radio host living on the roof of a car dealership. My issue with that is, look, it's a lot harder to live on like a billboard platform than it is on the roof of a car dealership. I mean, he can flip down into the car dealership during the day, get Wi-Fi, use the restroom, probably a microwave in there. They got him 2 tailgating tents up there. I mean, this is apples to oranges. This is child's play living on top of a car dealership roof as compared to a billboard.
He's probably got a nice spacious tent. It's like a vacation for the guy. Come on now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you want to do it?
No, I'm not doing it.
I'll find a car dealership.
No, I don't care enough about Tennessee.
Find a car dealership.
But I do believe the Vols are going to win this game. Now, I still go back to when Phil Fulmer joined us on this show, and when I talked about bowl games, and Blake, he had that. Obviously, he wasn't here; he was on the phone. But you heard kind of that like snicker almost in his voice, like, "Of course, 6. What are you kidding me? I mean, of course we're going to a bowl. I think it's will we be winning 9 or 10 games? Like I got that feeling from that, and maybe I'm completely off, but I think Eli, you got that feeling too that he thought it was no problem to get the 6. I mean, to get the 6 now, it would be nothing less than a miracle.
I agree. I mean, you look at, I still think there's 5 opponents on the schedule that Tennessee can beat, but, to beat all 5, you look at the chances of that, I mean, it's just very, very slim. I mean, I think, Tennessee would be favored in games against UAB and against Vanderbilt, but then against Mississippi State and South Carolina, I give them no better than a 50-50 chance, probably slightly worse. It's probably more like 40-60 in those games they can win, but, I'm going to be slight underdogs in those games. And then on the road at Kentucky, that's probably a 50-50 game. So, I mean, the odds of them winning all 5 of those, I find very unlikely. The bowl hopes for this team really took a damaging blow whenever they started the season with Georgia State and BYU losses. I mean, I projected them to go 6-6 coming into this year, and I was definitely counting a win over Georgia State and probably counting a win over BYU. And so, I mean, you take those 2 games out of the equation, and the path to bowl eligibility just got so much harder. And it's really a shame. I mean, those early season losses, particularly the Georgia State loss, I mean, we talked about it after it happened. That's the type of loss that just clings on to you for an entire season because, now as you're trying to turn the corner and trying to fight to get to a bowl game, you just think like, man, if only they beat Georgia State in the opener, I mean, this thing would seem a lot more realistic.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't think Philip Fulmer at that time would have been a thought of losing to Georgia State.
No, there's
that was not even in his mind.
I don't think he had any doubts in his mind that they absolutely were going bowling. Now,
he probably thought they were going to beat BYU. I mean,
I guarantee
at home
you
he thinks we're going to beat BYU. Certainly never thought they were going to lose to Georgia State.
I guarantee you that. And then look, if they could beat Mississippi State, like I think they will do, at least it gives them some hope down the road. But they're going to have to play spectacular ball, and they haven't. They've been very, very inconsistent. Hey, real quick, Blake, before we let you go, did you think it was interesting that Fulmer said, I am not interested in coming back as a coach. I'm done. I'm retired. Like, it almost felt like he had to say something because of all the conspiracy theories out there.
It was interesting. It was interesting on two parts. The fact that he was issuing a vote of confidence for Jeremy Pruitt at that point, 16 games into his tenure as coach. I mean, that's never a good sign when your AD's having to give you a vote of confidence that early into your tenure. That being said, I felt like Fulmer needed to do it. I mean, the heat was just cranking up so much on Pruitt that by not saying anything is probably the only thing worse than giving a vote of confidence. So I thought he needed to do that. The second part, I don't know whether he needed to do it or not. Obviously, he was bothered by those rumors out there. I mean, I think that was obvious, and so he wanted to tamp those down. And, I mean, I'm in the camp that I do not think that Philip Fulmer is going to be a future coach at Tennessee. I think his coaching days are over. Whether it's because, as he says, he wants them to be over, or whether it's just that they are over, I think that's the reality of it. His coaching days are over. But did it need to be said? I'm not sure, but it was probably good for some people to hear that maybe in the back of their minds were questioning whether that was something he wanted, was to be back on the sideline.
For the record, I'm with you 100%. I don't think he's about to come out of retirement. He is Blake Topmeyer, Tennessee football beat writer for the Knoxville News Sentinel and the USA Today Network. That's part of the USA Today Network. You can follow him on Twitter at @BTopmeyer. Blake, as always, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the game.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks a lot.
Fleet Feet, folks, the place to go for all your running gear, especially shoes, which are just right for you. They can get you in either one of their two locations using the technology they got there, kind of see where you put pressure on your foot when you're walking or running, and then fit you in the shoes just right for you based on the way you run or walk. And that is very important, making sure that you have those proper shoes to avoid injuries and other problems when you're out there running and exercising. Folks at Fleet Feet will take care of you with all your running gear beyond the shoes as well. And they like for folks to get involved. They do their training programs from time to time, group runs, other things they've got going on. You can always find out what's coming up, what's going on via their website at fleetfeetmemphis.com or their Facebook page. They keep you up to date with what they've got going on. Or just ask at either one of the two locations. East Memphis, Laurelwood Shopping Center next to Panera Bread Company. Collierville out at Poplar and Houston Levy next door to the Hueys. They are Fleet Feet.
We will wrap it up with one final thing when we return. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports Time with Rollo and Stouts. Every weekday afternoon from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five-Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Dirt happens, as well as debris, dust, and damage. And when they happen to you, you need good, clean, fast service. You need Hilo Commercial Services. Hilo specializes in construction, commercial, food plant, and industrial cleaning with customized service just for you. Hilo is also an expert at high dusting to clean hard-to-reach places. When dirt happens, call Hilo Commercial Services, 901-277-6733, or visit HiloCommercial.com. Hilo Commercial Services, good, clean, and fast for you.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire-roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Hewlett & Dunn, nestled on Old Town Square in Collierville, has 4,000 square feet of the largest boot selection in 200 miles. International boot legends Luke Casey, Double H, Red Wing, Ariat, Justin, and Tony Lama. Hewlett & Dunn has rubber hunting boots by Dry Shod, and recently has expanded the selection of safety work boots. Filson Hunting Gear, biggest selection in 3 states, and now carrying Duckhead. Western wear, hunting attire, jeans, belts, hats, and more at 111 North Center Street, Collierville on Old Town Square. You need to stop by Hewlett & Dunn, you bet your boots.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
Welcome back, everybody. Final segment here on the program. Tomorrow, we are going to be packed. Brandon Lang will join us. Anthony Miller of the Chicago Bears, former Tiger star, will join us as well. We'll have the Tiger Football Report. Mike Norvell will be on the program as we preview their game with Temple. And then Harold Grader in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour with our Pick 6, 2.5 questions. It's all coming up tomorrow. Who do you have in the Game 5s today?
I like the Dodgers for sure. I think the other one is a complete toss-up. I'm going to say the Braves because I'm rooting for them.
All right, I'm going to take the Cardinals. Just figure out a way, and the Dodgers. I'm with you.
Time out for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
The American Conference Basketball Media Days is coming up, or day, I think is Monday. I'm not sure if it's 2 days or not, but it'll be in Philadelphia. It's coming up next week, I think Monday. But the ACC had their media day on Tuesday of this week, so yesterday. And Mike Krzyzewski, this is a story that Pete Thamel has written for Yahoo Sports, has really gone all in against the NCAA and Mark Emmert and not forcing, but urging them to get their act together. Krzyzewski, back in March, talked about the NCAA saying they are not prepared right now. And, of course, this is all in response to the likeness bill that was just a bill at that time, which has since been passed in California, Senate Bill 206, which is the Fair Pay for Play Act, which will allow players, collegiate players in California, to make money off their likeness. Now, Krzyzewski has doubled down Tuesday at ACC Media Days, saying, "We have not always responded to the needs and rights of our players swiftly, and frankly, we're playing catch-up after years of stagnant rules," he said in this statement. He went on to request a firm plan for implementation at the national level and said, "We must adapt." Now, according to Thamel, Krzyzewski's words were interpreted around college athletics as verbal shots lobbed at NCAA headquarters. He said that college basketball has had its head in the sand and is happy to see the California bill pushing the envelope. Essentially, Coach K did everything but walk into Emmert's office, stick a finger in his chest, and demand action.
So I was talking about this with Gabe Kuhn a little bit because I keep looking for his name, but the XFL's doing their draft next week. Next Tuesday and Wednesday is the XFL draft, which they're doing it in an interesting way. There's 5 phases to the draft.
Right.
Phase 1, you pick 10 guys of skill players. Phase 2, you pick 10 players of offensive line. Phase 3 is the defensive front 7. Phase 4 is the defensive backfield. And then phase 5 is open to any player, any position until they fill out the roster. Each team will be assigned a quarterback before the draft as well. But throughout this week, every day they're releasing another group of players that are in the pool. I think they're up to like 600 players that have now been released. But a lot of guys, either former Memphis players or guys with from Memphis with Memphis ties. But there was one name, just looking through it real quick, that stood out to me. Robert Meacham is one of the guys. He's 35 years old now. He played with the Saints. Last time he played in the NFL was 2014. And he's one of the guys in the player pool.
Wow, it's been that long since Meacham played?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, really? Like, you want to play football that bad?
Well, if your financial situation, and I'm not saying his financial situation is bad, but if you need the money and you have some skills and you've played at the highest level, you may want to try to continue to play football and get paid for it.
I mean, I would think after 5 years of not taking that beating, you'd be like, "This is kind of cool."
I bet you it is.
Like,
but
I don't need to do this.
Well, let's see, my head and my checkbook. Let me check what's going on here. But again, I'm not saying that that's his situation. He may just miss it so much that he wants to get back into the fray. Obviously, he does want to get back into the fray.
I don't know if he will get drafted or not. Again, I mean, I think there's going to be 1,000 players in the pool. And you got 8 teams drafting 71 guys.
Who's the biggest name you've seen so far?
I don't even know.
Is it Landry Jones because he already committed to him?
Landry Jones has already been assigned to whatever team. I mean,
he'd be the Steelers quarterback right now if he stayed. Well, of course they cut him, but he if you think about it,
Josh Dobbs would be the quarterback had they not traded him.
That's right.
Josh Dobbs would be definitely the starting quarterback had they not traded him.
That's right. Big thanks to our guests today, Jerry Palm, Sigmund Bloom, Dr. Rochelle Stevens, and Blake Topmeyer. Again, we are loaded for bear tomorrow. Please join us starting at 10 o'clock.
If you do want to see that list of players, XFL.com, their website, they have they do a different group every day. By Friday is when they're supposed to have all of the players released.
All right, stay tuned. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour is coming up next. For Austin and Eli, I'm Greg. Enjoy the rest of your hump day, everybody.
I got $100 bill, friend, you keep your pills, 'cause it's all